Hello, hello. Hey, Atomic. I am back after however long it's been, May 4th. So 11 days. Yeah. And I don't know what we're doing today. Hey, Andrew. So Adam is back from his vacation. He just wants to be productive in some way today, but he's not totally sure what form that will take. Hey, Blub. Hey, Life's Faded. Mr. Who Cares? Thanks for the resub. Happy year and a half. Howdy, howdy, howdy. He's back after 2 decades. It was only a decade and a half. Let's not exaggerate. All right, wants to be productive in some way today on SIABT. Not totally sure what form that will take. The stream schedule should return to normal now, though. Okay, and Sinistello, thank you too for the resub. Yeah, nice to see everybody here. As mentioned, I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing. I'll delete this command, vacation, decom vacation. All right, but we have update the roadmap. Remember that I made a bunch of rider changes. Oh yeah, that should be nice. Right, so now I can search for something like this. Wait, what? Oh, it's matching case. It's probably working. Hey, Leapy Girl, lazy day. Hope you have a nice stream. Kid mentioned you and Skelliseller briefly yesterday. Oh, nice. Yeah. And hi. I had to find new things to do in the evening because of this vacation. I hope you're refreshed. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm also glad I took yesterday off. I wanted to just laze around and do nothing for a little bit longer. Oh, wait. Hang on a second. Hang on one second. Engage privacy mode. Did I? Hang on a sec. There was something I wanted to remember that I wrote in my personal notes, or at least that I wanted to. No, I did not write it down. Okay. Okay, there. Done. Yeah. Now I have an excuse again to not be productive around this time. Wait a sec. You're not like working alongside? I know it's later in the day for you, but yeah. Hey, Matt. Stream lag? I don't think there's anything on my end. Is anyone else having any lag? Is that a 10 I see? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. All right, so here's what we have here. Post-vacation. So this is done. If reception of the demo is good, keep going. Yeah, so unfortunately, I did not do any other playtesting. I really didn't do very much work. Hey, Goose, and thank you. I didn't do very much work over vacation. The one thing I did was I spent a little bit of time just thinking about some of the feedback I already got. So both my wife and Redbeard was the other playtester said, oh, it'd be nice to be able to play the games a little bit more. And I concluded that we should probably allow people to play the games if there's some entertainment value from them. And actually, one of the other options here is... Actually, I should ask this question. Let me write this down. Figure out if the farming game even makes sense. Maybe if people want to play each game more, we need to shoehorn in a mini game or just always pick games that are fun on their own and not because of the long-term time investment. Oh yeah, privacy mode I think just took a long time on my side too. First day I've woken up at 8 a.m. since well before we even started vacation. Gives me an excuse to keep it up. Nice. Hey, I'll go Deb. How you doing? Yeah. Yeah, so I wrote this. If it's good, keep going. 2026 should just be about proving out the idea and doing a bunch of play testing. Should be pretty apparent once there's like 30 to 45 minutes of gameplay. So that's the goal of 2026. Get to 30 minutes of fun and improving gameplay so we know we can just add to it. 2027 can be scoping the rest out. Maybe I can go to year 3, i.e. launch in 2028. I don't know. That'd be, yeah, I don't know. Welcome back. Thanks, Fanatic Vine. Happy 73 months. Hey, Ramy. Doing well, thanks. Glad to hear it. Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of disconnected for a while and, you know, spend time with family. That was the plan, was to spend time with family. The disconnecting part was like, yeah, maybe I'll do something. But yeah, I didn't really do very much here. Now, granted, I did get through a lot of personal to-do list stuff. There are some things that are just annoying tasks to do. And yeah, like setting up calls with various services and I'm not going to go into all the details, but yeah, they weren't fun tasks. I got some of those things done, so that's nice. And yeah, just coming back to all of this. I do think the most important thing for May is still figuring out how other people react to the game. So I think today's going to just start out as some planning. I think the most important thing for May is to get feedback on what we have. Do people find themselves wanting to play the game some more? How might that take shape for the farming game? Yeah, I got to think about that. And I got to compile some other notes too. Okay, so yeah, but here's the general roadmap. And I actually kind of want to write this in here. I don't have a roadmap right now, do I? No. Okay, general roadmap. 2026, prove out the idea. We should have 30 to 45 minutes of fun/proven gameplay. 2027, just build on those ideas. Make the game as good as we can. And 2028, you know, since I'm writing this in 2026, it's like launch or keep going based on how 2027 went. Happy 21st birthday, Kevin. Thank you for the resub. Thank you. Good to see you again. Hope you've had a good week. Well, a couple weeks. No, just this week. Hope the last week was just a week. But this one's a great week. Scoping out the rest, polishing. Yeah, actually, maybe we base on and wish list went. Yeah, cool. Okay, now I can delete this. I think I should spend at least 2 entire weeks setting up the foundation to make the rest of development smooth. See if we pursue this game list below. Even during those 2 weeks, remember my main tenet, sustainability. Yeah, I wonder if sustainability should change here. Or at least a little bit. Pushing too hard, I'll burn out. I'm not doing any favors. No, I'll just keep an eye on this. I don't think I need a note written down about it. Want to come up with what checkpoint 2 looks like and the success criteria. Yeah, so I think I'm definitely building out the plan for right now. So May is going to be build up the demo and get more play testers. And then as soon as we're relatively confident, tackle the if we pursue this game list. And then, yeah, come up with checkpoint 2. I can just put that on the if we pursue this game. Come up with what checkpoint 2 looks like. Hey, Learn CPP. Welcome back. Gonna be going to school for game dev for 3 years. Nice. Yeah. I think, I didn't do game dev as a curriculum, but I think it's nice to get a taste for all the different parts of game dev you might be doing or might want to do even. But I do think AI is going to change quite a lot of this. Hey, Joss, thank you very much. Weeks were good. Busy at work, Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. There's like a certain amount of time you could take a break for. Like if you took 2 days off, like that's not enough to form a new routine. But if you took 200 days off, you can't just continue doing the same thing you were doing. You need a new routine. So there's some breaking point in between these two where you're like, I got used to what I was doing. I assume it's probably about 3 weeks. Because I think that's how long it takes to build a habit, or at least a positive habit. So probably that's like where you're like, well, can't go back to what I was doing now. At least not easily. Yeah, I was thinking about you, Monetic Mind, as I mentioned that. Because I remember your background for this. And I think it's nice of you to offer that to Learn CPP. All right, so May, build up the demo and get more play testers. As soon as we're relatively confident, tackle this. Yeah. I wonder what else we need to do for this. I think that's the main thing for today. So yeah, today, update the roadmap. I guess we can just write this as Friday. This we can eventually drop from the list. Drop on Monday. So update the roadmap, figure out what we would need to do to build up the demo some more. It's probably the cutscene at the end. Well, I think it's going to be answer the questions concretely about how people will play each game some more, and then flesh out the game. Yeah. Hey, Crazy was taken. Hey, Mr. Evil Rex. Did you go anywhere? I went to visit family. I haven't shared where that is. But yeah, it was a family vacation. Well, family vacation implies we all went somewhere, but no, it was me visiting family. Yeah. I think that was the purpose of the trip. Spend at least 2 weeks setting up the foundation. Yeah, and I want to do that if we pursue this game. So note, I want to carve out 2 weeks for these tasks. It may suck, and maybe I mix in some music or something, but I don't want this stuff hanging over me for later. We should have good processes moving forward. Hey, Strawn. Okay, cool. Want to come up with checkpoint 2, success criteria, keep an eye on development velocity. Yeah, that's also pretty important. Keep an eye on development velocity for this. Can we speed things up somehow? I want to try out a lot of ideas. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I should treat new games as a like I'm doing a game jam or something. All right, what else is on this? You need to think about why people would buy the game for themselves if they want to watch someone else play it. It could be replayability. It could be exploring the depth of each subgame. I think this plays into. I had this written down here, but yeah, I think this plays into this question. So let's put that there for now. And I should probably put a Steam page up with a basic trailer and start collecting wish lists. Maybe that's part of checkpoint 2. Yeah, I think so. Well, I think this is actually part of the if we pursue this game, but maybe toward the end of it. Okay. Could enter game jams just to make games. Could be good content as well. There are tons of jams on itch. Yeah, but and I know this may sound, I don't know, maybe stupid or wayward, but what is the benefit of joining a jam rather than just doing the work on stream? I guess maybe to follow a theme, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll write it down. I could even directly join game jams. Hey, Chili, I did. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Sorrow. Still a rich indie dev. I always wonder that. Well, I think so. I guess to answer my own question, I think the general reason to form game jams is a combination of motivation, limited time. These kind of play into each other. The creativity of sticking to a theme, the community aspect of doing what other people are doing, the ability to explore a new idea, and maybe like reaching a particular audience. This could be a reason for people, but these are probably some of the top reasons. I'm not saying this is exhaustive. There are almost certainly other reasons. But for me, I think the motivation thing is already there. The limited time could be interesting. Actually, this kind of goes in both directions. It's a limited number of days, but a lot of people put in more time than they normally would. Community aspect doesn't really matter to me too much. The creativity of sticking to a theme could potentially help. The exploring new ideas. I think this is kind of baked into stuck in a broken tutorial. And yeah, the reaching an audience probably doesn't matter. Get themes for ideas. Jams are judged to get more feedback. Oh yeah, the feedback thing. I forgot about that. Could be nice to get feedback. Only problem is I might need to... I shouldn't over-index on this though, since I may need a web version for people to actually play, which would mean using GDScript. Man, it actually would be nice if they fixed that. Where is that? C#, Godot, there. Export. I wrote this somewhere. Maybe I wrote about Godot exports. Ah, here it is. This issue is not fixed yet, is it? No, it's not. I wonder where they stand on this. 14 hours ago. Wow. They're 2 thumbs down. What is this, like an AI PR? Curious about this. Yeah, just using an agent to do the commits as well as not disclosing AI use. So many things are wrong and won't work at all. Please test it locally. Yeah, this is exactly what I guessed when I saw this had 2 thumbs down. Oh man, hey Sockton, thank you. Game Jam web version. Can use HDRP. I'm not sure what that is. High quality graphics, high definition render pipeline. I see. Got it. Yeah. Never feel community impacting motivation. If I want to do something, I just do it. If I don't, I won't, regardless of who else is doing it. Yeah. I think, I mean, there's certainly people who need the push from others. The way I kind of look at this is it's like when it comes to fitness, there are group fitness classes and there are enough people out there who love them or they wouldn't be all over the place. But some people don't like that or don't need that. And I think that same intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation extends to, yeah, developing hobbies, doing chores, really anything. Hey, Faceless. Soon we'll start our sentences with I. Hello and welcome back. What, Faceless? Soon we'll start our sentences with I? Is that this might be a reference to my title, which I have forgotten already. Let me take a look at it. No, I'm not sure what that's about. But hi, Faceless. Oh, not really me, but the LLM. Oh, I see. Yeah. Won't work in WebGL if I build with HDRP. Not fun when you're 1 hour to push the game, realize you got to do an executable build. Yeah, I guess if you relied on the pipeline, it's probably harder to just gut the pipeline. But yeah, these are things that I think at least like most game jams, from my experience, last summer between like 2 to 7 days. So at worst, you could have, quote unquote, wasted that amount of time and then learned a lesson for every single game jam you do in the future. So that's another nice thing about game jams, about this whole limited time thing. It kind of works both ways. It's a benefit in that it motivates you, and it's also kind of a downside in that you maybe can't do everything you want to do. Back vacation. Hey, Blair. Yeah, I'm back. All right, what else do we have on the roadmap that was here? Maybe good to pipeline different games for the sake of variety. Polish should be part of the pipeline so don't go nuts toward the end. Yeah, I'll put this down for the next checkpoint that we're going to do. Okay. So yeah, roadmap, general schedule for the streams, Monday, Wednesday, Friday coding, Tuesday polish, Thursday music. Yeah. I don't even know if I should put this here. I'll put this in my stream of consciousness thing. My work here is done. Goodbye. No, I hope you'll stick around, Blair. Moving this here because I don't want to be too prescriptive about this. Okay, so the general roadmap is going to be finish checkpoint 1, the first privately play testable version, then stabilize, and then plan checkpoint 2 and tackle checkpoint 2. Yeah, so if we look at how long it's been in just terms of coding, I think it's been a month. First day of game design. Started the repo on April 6th. And I took my vacation on May 4th. So yeah, that was about a month. Just a little shy of that. Now, granted, some of that went back to game design. Some of it was music. But yeah, it's been about a month. So I kind of want to I want to finish this in the next week, I think. The goal is to have everything done by, what does that work out to be? The 22nd? Yeah. So I think I'll write some quick weekend stuff here. Which is ping Dark about the new timeline. Be nice to have the world stuff by Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, so update the roadmap. I mean, I did. That's done. Now figure out what we need to do to build up the demo some more. Answer some questions. You get any feedback on the demo from non-viewbots? No, not really. I only had 2 people who played it. My wife and then Redbeard, who's a Hearthstone streamer. And my wife just loved it. She said it was great. She did give me some feedback. And then Redbeard, I think, was a little bit more on the fence about it. I think there were a couple things I noticed. Red didn't really know what the game was about ahead of time, whereas I told my wife the idea. So I think my wife was just able to get in that mindset of like, okay, here's what I should expect. Whereas when you play this game and you're in a platformer and you fall through the world and you end up in a farming game, you're like, what am I going to be playing in this game? Like, what's going on? So that's part of the intrigue, but it's not really answered too much in the demo. And I think we should probably cut down on some of the dialogue too. But one of the common pieces of feedback, and remember, this is only amongst 2 people. So for all I know, it's going to be 2 out of 1,000 and not, 100% of everyone who plays this. Common piece of feedback was like, I want to play the game some more. And I'm not totally sure what to do about this, because we talked about this a little bit before vacation. And yeah, one of the ideas I had was you have some like number of gold points in each game and you need 50 to progress, but there are 100 available or something like that. So you can go play them for longer if you want to, but there's no real reason to do that. Or you allow for backtracking or something. And I don't know how much I want to answer this ahead of time, but that would allow you to play the games more. Now, with that said, a farming game is not typically something you don't play an action-packed like 5-minute session. Whereas with a first-person shooter, with an action platformer, with anything like that, like you could play a 5-minute section of the game and be like, oh, that was fun, that was exciting. But farming games don't work that way. Farming games are like you play for days and days, maybe of real life time too, and you build up your farm, and watching it get built up and building the relationships with the townsfolk and everything else. That's part of where the fun is derived. So if I decided that, okay, this piece of feedback, I want to play the game some more, this is really important, I don't know what to do about the farming game. Like, you can't just, I don't know, you could, I guess, get stuck in it for a while and advance time and grow your crops. But it's like, what are we making an entire game that then people can ignore? When's the release date? Release date's probably going to be in 2028 or 2029 or something. Welcome back. Hope you were able to vacation without the game lingering in the back of your mind. Yeah, I was. Or at least I was in a healthy way. As in, like, I still thought about the game, but it wasn't me worrying about it or anything. Yeah, so I need to figure this stuff out. So let's go start to figure it out. Yeah, I wrote this here. This is the first thing I'm doing on vacation that even resembles work. Wife and Redbeard said they wanted to play more of the games that they were shown. Okay, so coming back to playing the games. It'd be nice if there was a blame for this that worked for everyone for free. Hey Smurf, yeah, vacation was good. I'm feeling refreshed. And one of the biggest things that I feel like I got from vacation in terms of just mindset was the sustainability tenet is really important. Like, this is probably not going to be a quick game to get proven out or to build. There's going to be a lot to it. I mean, unless I scope it down a lot, which I don't necessarily want to do. So it's all about just, I don't want to burn out. I want to make sure I'm doing good work. And the vacation was relatively well timed because I hadn't really taken a break since working on Skeleseller. I needed that. Hey, Boolean, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Boss's boss told me I would have finished my game years ago if I was using AI, so maybe you should also try that. Push that release date a few years earlier. Yeah, I think Q3 this year then. Okay, so I mentioned it in this header. Continued from here. And I want to just kind of spew some thoughts out here. So problems with the game so far, or maybe like thoughts about the game so far. It's a collection of sub games that generally are either supposed to be fun or story advancing, or both. Well, it's supposed to be fun and or story advancing. Yeah, I think people, I guess it's weird to spend time fleshing out game mechanics only for people not to play them. And people who watch a streamer or YouTuber play wouldn't have much of a reason to play for themselves if there weren't delightful mechanics and objectives. Hey Maya, it was relatively short. I think it was a good amount of time. In any case, I know no one asked, but I've been somewhat grinding away on my game. Lots of work. I'm not good at it to be done, so it's going slow. Got a con in 2 weeks, hoping for a motivation boost. Well, nice. And no one has to ask. I think it's fine. You've been part of this community for long enough. Yeah, the whole work that you are not good at, I think, you know, if you consider just general categories of any work in any field, there's stuff you're good at, stuff you're not good at, stuff you want to do, and stuff you don't want to do. If you just consider those and not even anything in between, it's just either it's a true or false, that there's going to be stuff you're not good at and don't want to do. And this category is quite rough. So I think spreading it out is important. Hey Jez, I see you kept up your stream streak while I was gone. I don't know if you actually watched VODs or just had kept them loaded up, but that's cool. Happy 30 streams. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say I can use it. Thought I'd take a break after getting to 1.0 on my current game. About a week ago, a buddy of mine was like, want to work on something when you're done? Was it appealing to you? Were you like, yes, I'd like to be pulled away from this? Or were you like, no, I still want to finish this and get to 1.0? How is your motivation? Yeah, so these are the two concerns here. So I think the general conclusion is you should be able to play these games, but it may be hard to come up with objectives for the story-driven games, like the farming one. We could shoehorn one in. Or we could streamline the game. We could just leave it as story-driven. Should probably actually load up the game. Hey, Kiro, thank you. Yeah, it's a Corn keyboard. Where's my controller? There it is. Okay, yeah, so let's load this up. I don't know where I left off. I don't remember what this felt like. Hopefully the controller connects. There we go. Oh, yeah, you can't use commands and responses. Yep. Okay. This is way too loud for me. Wow. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I want to look at this through the lens of the game is fun. How do you just continue through this? Is this like super loud? I think it's louder than it probably should be. Let's turn this down. Oh, 1.0 is June 1st. Wow, that's a lot sooner than I expected. I just expected it was going to be like the rest of this year. Hey, Sashamara, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. You know probably better than I do that as you're approaching the end of the game project, you've been working on the game so long, the new ideas seem really exciting. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. Yeah, and I hope it goes really well. Nice, Flair. Yeah, let me give you a shout out, Seshamara. Whoops. Oh my god. All right, sorry. I meant to hit tab and I accidentally pressed enter. And now I don't think I can do a shout out for the actual person. Ignore the one that I just did. Oh no. I'm sorry, said Shamara. All right, well, here, let me just link to your Twitch stream. I'll do it the cheapo way. Yeah. Is this my new game? Yeah, this is the new game that I've been working on. It's been in development for about a month, so it's still rough around the edges. All right, so here's the start. This actually has a, like, kind of obvious secondary objective we could add, which is these diamonds. Like, collect a certain amount. Which, granted, you wouldn't know that you have to collect them at this point. But yeah, so I still want to just go through this with this lens. Yeah. What genre is it? It's kind of a story-driven comedy game. Just not really outright bundled as that. Like, this looks like it's just a platformer, but it's not a platformer. Do you have other keyboards then? I mean, I have one for gaming, but this is the keyboard I use primarily. But yeah, for gaming, I wouldn't want to do something with this few keys. All right, I like this. I think as an opening, this is fine. I think we can add some more mechanics here. I want to make sure not to over-index. There's actually another... So there's another phenomenon that's a little bit hard to explain, but if you show someone a product and tell them this is 10% complete, regardless of if it is 10% complete, but if you show someone a product and say this is 10% complete, they will give you feedback as though you're going to change the entire roadmap of your game or your product. But if you show someone a product and say this is 99% complete, all of a sudden a lot of that feedback will evaporate and it won't even bother them. And I noticed this with Skeleseller. As I was developing it, people were like, oh man, I'd love to do this or this or this. And then as we fleshed out more and more of it and got toward the end, people were like, oh, okay, that's probably not going to happen. So I just won't ask about that. And you start to accept the game for what it is. And maybe that's settling. I don't know. But yeah, I want to be careful I'm not falling into a trap here. So yeah, by the way, everyone had tried to, I know it's being covered right now, but this what is going on. People try to access this, which is part of the joke here. So yeah, I think maybe part of the issue here is in this farming game, your goal is really just like burn down your energy, which takes a little bit long to do, and you can't move fast enough. So why can't I get out of this? There we go. Yeah, let me write down some quick notes about what we can do today. So yeah, streamline the farming game, make energy drain a bit faster, add running, prune some dialogue to its cleanest or like most, I don't really want to say succinct, but I guess that's what I want here. You must have the vision for it, no one else. Yeah. And I think what's tough is if you have, let's say you share your game with 1,000 people and they all say, I want this in the game. You sometimes still have to say, no, that's not the direction I want for it to go. And it's tough making those decisions because it's like literally everyone's asking for it. So it might seem like it's a good idea. But what I kind of compare that to is if I turn this game into Minecraft, it would probably sell better than whatever I'm about to make. But that doesn't mean I should make Minecraft. Otherwise, everyone would be making Minecraft. Yeah, so I think this is part of it. The part of the issue here with this game is that all you do is drain your energy, and it's not a very fun objective. And I think what's cool is if we made you dig up parts of the world that you're not supposed to dig up. So I think there can be more gags here. Like one of the ideas that I had is, what if in order to run, you had to try swinging your axe, but it didn't swing your axe, you actually just threw your axe on the ground. And now it said, well, now that you're not carrying an axe, you can run. Like, I think it's kind of funny. Maybe you have to throw your axe on the ground for this to be possible. And dialogue shows up saying, now that you're not carrying that pesky axe, you can run. I think I gotta plan some about this. Let me write this down. The main issue with the farming game issues is that the objective in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial is to burn your energy, which isn't fun in itself. And the main fun of a farming game is that you play it for IRL hours, not 5 minutes. As a result, you can't see crops grow, your farm develop, relationships form, etc. Hey, Krasner. Good morning. Welcome back. Hope vacation was wonderful. Yeah, it was nice. And I don't know. I'm grateful that I can work on this game. And I look forward to seeing where it goes. I'm still excited about it. And I think I've just said this so many times, but there are a lot of things that are built into this game that are nice. Like, you're going from game to game, so I'm never on one game for all that long. But you can see this world looks pretty unpolished right now. So, okay, let's burn through our energy. There's a cheat for this. Deplete energy. There we go. So now I can go to bed. Oh, yeah, the discovery about the shovel. I probably need to do something about that. Is there a way that we can push players toward discovering what the shovel really does? Hey, Phil. All right, so let's go to sleep. Okay. So now we're in the dream game. And here, I mean, I think we should probably eventually change the world a little bit to make it more difficult platforming, probably. But anyway, let's get back. Hey, Illusionary. There's just sickles on the ground. By the way, everyone thought those were question marks. I wonder if once they're steel, they'll look a little bit better. But we should probably swap out the steel tools. All right, I actually kind of want to skip this. I'll just do this. There we go. So glad we put cheats in there. Never seen this? the Fever Dream game? Yeah. Haven't seen you in ages. I see that you really like strawberries. Okie dokie. They aren't question marks. No, they're sickles. So see, this is the tool you're using. Yeah. So I can increase my walking speed, but players wouldn't be able to. Which means I need running animations and stuff. Anyway, now you go into town, and it kicks off this dialogue. And then I gotta flesh out this cutscene too. Anyway, okay, cool. So I think that's another thing we can do here is use these steel tools instead of the copper ones, so that you can actually tell that the sickle isn't a question mark. Okay, so yeah, here are the core problems. And maybe this can inform later game design for the sub games in here. Hey, Scoreline. Thanks for the resub. How's it going? It's going well. It's going really well. Yeah. Yeah, happy 9 months. Okay, objective is to burn your energy, which isn't fun in itself. Also, nothing even tells you about this. Other than your bed. Maybe we should have you harvest some crops? I don't know, though. The whole point is that there wouldn't be nothing planted on your farm. All right, well, let's tackle this one at a time. Hey, Aurelio, vacation was good. It was a family visit. That was the purpose of the vacation. So I didn't go anywhere like, beach vacation, tropical location, something like that. It was to visit family, and I got to visit family, and I thought that was nice. And I got to take some time off of just working. And I also kind of just slowed down the pace of how I'm operating for a while. Maybe it's crop rotation time, as in to give you the objective. I'm not sure. I think I need to take a step back and kind of plan this out. Let's start with this one. So let's start with actually, let's just move this up here. Part about you not being able to enjoy what farming games are typically about. Also, this keyboard double typing R's is obnoxious. I can't pull this off of here. There we go. Okay, hopefully that fixes it. Uh-oh. Okay, this is a test. Everything roaring at the roaring line. Okay, yeah, it doesn't seem like R's are double typing anymore. Harvesting the plant. So the idea was that you were given this farm by your grandfather. So if there were already crops on it, I don't think it would make sense. Like, we could have a way of advancing time so that you can experience the flow of the game, of a traditional game. Or like the traditional flow of a farming game. All right, so yeah, the problem is that advancing time would likely involve sleeping, which is what puts you into a new game. I think this maybe points to streamlining the experience a bit. Like, rather than require whatever it is, where's the energy? Yeah, here it is. So you become exhausted after spending 80% of your energy, which means that 80 divided by 15 is what? 5.33. So 53 tool usage. So if you just swing your sickle 53 times, you'll be done. Or moving does deplete some of it, and planting seeds does too. So we could just change these values a little bit. Lowering the amount of actions you have to take before you're tired. This is VS Code. This is Rider. This right here. Yeah. It's a game cartridge. Time to get used to a 36 key corn. Brain keeps looking for the shift keys. Did you dedicate a button to shift? Because I think that's pretty important. Am I using AI? Yeah, I am using AI. I think I have a command for this. Yeah. I did cancel Claude before my vacation, so I'll sign up for either that or Codex. I'm still debating. But yeah, I think AI has been pretty helpful so far. And actually, some of the ways it's been helpful, like there are a lot of features that you don't even need players to have, like a cheat menu. There's no reason to expose cheats to players most of the time. But like, look at this. So now, thanks to the cheats, I can go to the other games that are here. I could speed up the game. I can switch to where we currently are. Like I can skip this entire dialogue. This does not look pretty, but this is not fun to code. So like, I think this is the perfect example of where AI can really shine here. It's like, yeah, it wasn't that hard to do. Knocked that out pretty quickly. Hey, Pressel, who is this? Why am I a VIP? Yeah, I just started streaming today. I've never been on Twitch before in my life. Don't know how you got VIP. Liberating and focus on game design, which should be the focus. I think it's nice to bounce between some of the tasks. I do like game design, but game design is nothing without the implementation, and the implementation typically can't happen without some design. So it's kind of nice bouncing back and forth. Where do you have shift? Is it your keyboard MX or chalk spacing? It's, I think, chocolate spacing. It's definitely the chocolate keycaps. But yeah, they're pretty close to each other. And where do I have shift? It's on the leftmost right thumb key. So I know that's a possibly confusing way to say this, but it's right here. So the leftmost right thumb key. So just right here. And it's also a one-shot key. So when I press shift, I can let go. And now when I press A, it's a capitalized A, but the next one will not be. So that's kind of nice that you can just do this with any amount of time in between. Well, you do need to keep track of if it's pressed in your head. Must like coffee with that name. Espresso. Yeah, so I think this is the conclusion here. And I think we probably also need to add more gags. Like gifting your tools to someone in town. Hey, Cuddlefish. I am back. Yeah, it should be normal schedule from here on. Well, here on, not forever, of course, but like for the next month or two. How do you configure one-shot keys? So my whole key map is over here. You can look at the code that I use for this. Why does this keep opening automatically? Like when I go to this code view, I'd want to see the code, but it's opening the files thing. Anyway, in this particular case, I actually did want to see the files, but it should close this afterward. Yeah, so here's the one-shot code that I have. So you can find it in here, oneshot.c and oneshot.h. But I think it's pretty nice. The same thing works with command and control and alt. So if I press command on my keyboard, now I don't have my hands on the keyboard. I'm going to just press A and it type command A. So it's one shot even for those modifiers, which is pretty nice. I like that. Being angry when the feature helps you. Well, in this one particular case, have I tried Notion? No, I never got into Notion because when I was originally looking at note-taking programs, Notion had kind of a weird monetization policy about charging per block, and it wasn't clear to me what a block was, and I just, yeah. Now they're not doing that anymore, but I've already switched to Obsidian. Oh, you ZMK. Okay, yeah. ZMK might have their own thing, or they might not have a one-shot feature. Well, they probably should. The LLM jungles. Imagine. So is this enough? I think is a question. Would this be enough? And I think the only real answer is to playtest and find out. Because, yeah, if the point of this game is to be story-driven, then don't require people to play it for that long. That's my thinking. If the game is story-driven, then we shouldn't force people to play in an unfun way. Logseek, but might change. Yeah, I liked Obsidian over Logseek, and I'm pretty happy I went with Obsidian. But I think using it for everything would be a mistake for me, at least. I think Google Docs makes a lot of sense still. Take care, Kevin. And thanks again for the resub. Yeah, I think this is the answer. Because what are the alternatives? I want to think about that for a little bit. What are the alternatives to streamlining the game? It'd be like add fun. That's pretty much it. So like for farming games, it would mean letting you grow your farm, but there's literally no purpose in doing so. And that's why I think this would be problematic. Like imagine if you were playing, I don't know, Super Mario Brothers, just the original game, and it's a collect 10,000 coins. You'd be like, why? I don't need that many one-ups to beat the game. So it would just feel like it's tacked on. It's not really fun to do. It's fun to collect some of the coins, but not to go out of your way to get them all. Yeah, so I think that's the alternative here, or like change the game. I mean, it's change the game, but how? Yeah, add fun. Yeah, Eskimo. People play games just for the heck of it. Yeah, and I think allowing for people to play them for longer could be interesting. There are story reasons here. Like, the more I think about it, the more I think that this is the way to do this. And I'm going to keep writing my rationale. Like, this game is for story purposes. This particular sub-game, I should say, is for story purposes. And it's difficult to make the farming game fun without having the progression of time. However, sleeping is significant to the story. Yeah. How's your vacation? Feeling rested, pumped, ready for some work? Yeah, I'm feeling rested. I'm pretty excited about this still. I think my biggest takeaway from vacation was it's okay for this project to take a while. Like part of it is to have fun, part of it is to provide fun. So I want to make sure I'm still focusing on the having fun part. Like we're in the early phases. I tend to just rush things. I'm like, oh, got to get to the next checkpoint and whatever. And even, I mean, I say this, but even today I just wrote like, I'd like to have checkpoint 1 done by the end of this coming Friday. So like a week from today. And I don't think we're too far off from that. But yeah, well, but I need to get back to playtesting, which means I should probably set that up this weekend. So reach out to maybe, let's say like 3 playtesters. I'll say at least 3. Yeah. Hey, Human Puppet. Played Pocopia without going past the first world, just making the habitats without progressing through the game. Yeah, but okay, so here's what I think is a little bit difficult about this is at least with Pocopia, like you know that whatever you're doing is the game. So like if you build out a whole world, I don't know how the game works exactly, but I guess the habitat, and spend 5 hours doing that, it won't just disappear for you to never see it again when you advance. But in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, if you spent 5 hours developing your farm and maybe you find that fun and then you move past it and you're like, wait a second, what, this isn't ever, I'm not seeing this again. Because when Red played, he said, is this a hub world? Is the farming game a hub world? Because he saw that there was like, there's a farm, there's a town, there are buildings in that town. And he thought it would be sort of like a Super Mario 64, like this is how you'll get to the other games. But that's actually not how this works. So that I'm a little bit concerned about. It's like, this is only the second game in Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, and people might not have the expectations set correctly yet. A side effect of game discourse, is it important to you that the new game is satisfying to play? And if so, do you have thoughts on how to ensure that? For instance, mechanically satisfying, story satisfying? Yeah, I think it's important to me that any game I make is satisfying to play. And typically I don't care too much about story satisfaction. So for example, Skeleseller has a story, but no one's playing it for the story. It's just a cutesy way to frame the game and then to give you some closure at the end. But for this game, I think the story matters more, but the mechanics also are pretty important. And that's actually why I'm talking about what I'm talking about now. One of the pieces of feedback we've gotten, is this open right now? Why is there a stop button here, but I don't actually see a game? Huh, that's strange. Yeah, that's strange. So yeah, one of the things that we've been talking about here is if we go into the farming game. So, I have this written down already. I don't have this presentable in an easy way, but yeah, this is not mechanically all that interesting. Like, you're going through some dialogue, which let me just skip this. You're going through some dialogue and then you're able to plant some seeds. Like, this is probably not the best thing if we wanted to focus on mechanics, but the point is for it to be a story-driven game. So the point is to get you to go to bed and get to the next game. And then I think everything's fine. So I think we just need to speed this up. And maybe even like shrink the farm or something. Any other light bulb moments, even for new sub games? No, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about the game itself. Yeah. Didn't even get the main reward out of it. Ultimate weapon for one of the characters. I see. Are you sure then that a farming game is the right second sub game for Stuck in a Broken Tutorial? So I still think, in my mind, the structure should look something like this. Like, start you in a game that's straightforward so that you think it's the full game. And then shift you to a game that can explain a little about what's going on. Like, this is the world building aspect. So this, in my mind, is like a setup for breaking your expectations. And then this is world building. And then the next game after this is just going to be a fun game, hopefully, with a comedic twist. So I think it's totally okay for this farming game to be about world building as long as that's what we focus on then. And I think the problem is that we have you do this arbitrary task of like, okay, well, you got to plant some crops and you got to burn down your energy. But like, if you could just go to sleep immediately, that might help. Or maybe not immediately. The bed could still tell you, like, you're not ready for me. Try using your shovel. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the way we break your expectations is like, you can't use your shovel outside. Maybe trying to use it here doesn't work. Like, that could be part of the joke, is you have to shovel out your house and then plant your seeds in here. Anyway, I'm not sure. Must be nice to have systems, even art, for debugging you can reuse in the next game. Yeah, it is. It is very nice. What are your top 3 video game franchises? Off the top of my head, Smash Bros, probably WoW, and I mean Diablo. But I don't think I'd ever like really play Diablo again. I played Diablo 2 again when they launched a new character, but otherwise I'm kind of done with the game. Same thing with WoW. I'm not playing any of the modern stuff. I only ever go back to classic if anything. And Smash Bros I haven't touched in probably like some small number of years. But yeah, just in terms of like impact to me as a gamer, I think it's those 3. All right, alternative streamlining game, add fun, or like don't use the farming game. And yeah, this problem, there's literally no purpose in doing so. And you'll lose any progress anyway as soon as you advance beyond this game. Don't have this game be a farming game. And I think the problems here are, one, I already coded it. That's a pretty minor problem. But the bigger problem is whatever I switch this with has to be for world building, which means dialogue and NPCs. And the farming game is perfect for that. Yeah, I'm very solidly in this camp of I just need to streamline this experience a bit. Okay. I think this is good. For me, it was Quake. Huh. Could be funny to pull a JRPG that's almost literally a straight path. I know this joke has been done before. Could be used for world building. I think I'll keep an eye on this for sure, but I'm like more and more confident that this is the way to go to streamline this, and maybe just add some more humor along the way. Like I said, I think both my wife and Redbeard had said, hey, it'd be nice to move a little bit faster. I think it'd be funny if you went to use your axe and you just threw it onto the ground, and it's like, oh, cool, you've unlocked the ability to run now. You're like, what? So I think that's hilarious. And I think it's worth doing. And if you never use your axe, you'll never run faster. And that's okay, because you don't actually need to run. Yeah, and then in the Fever Dream game and in the Return to the Farming game, we would need to account for you not having an axe. Maybe we just, well, yeah. We don't change your cursor when the 4th item is selected and it's a strawberry. Wait, no, we do change it? Yeah, no, we do change your cursor. Okay. So nothing has changed in your VR. Yeah, have a good workout. As a mechanic for a speedrunning style game. Well, and in this game, it's like the main reason to do it is it's a funny joke. And that you just can never pick up your axe again. In fact, maybe it disappears. Maybe it even disappears while it's on the ground. Or it just slides away from you. Okay, that's funnier, I think. When on the ground, if you approach, it should slide away from you. Even if it means colliding, yeah. It shouldn't have a world collider. Okay, I love this. I love this idea. I think that's great. These are little fun things that we can do here. But yeah, I think it's pretty important to write down the rationale about this. Yeah, for story exposition, not for mechanics. Yep. And let's link it to this. Yeah, I'm super happy I did this because I was a bit worried about this. And I need to ask playtesters this too. Where are my questions? Checkpoint 1, questions after checkpoints. Yeah, so we should answer this. Questions is already written. No, it is not. Answer these questions. And one of them should be about the sub games. People interact with the world when it's not required. Cost, game difficulty, control, story, or impact. Team achievements. Okay, yeah. So we'll put it in here. Sub games. Are people, or like, have we captured people's attention for games, whether they're story driven or for fun? For the farming game, the first two playtesters said they wanted to be able to play it more. I went in the opposite direction and streamlined the game. Well, I probably will have gone in the opposite direction and by streamlining the game. So is that satisfying for new playtesters? Okay. Good. But yes, the rationale. I wanted to capture that somewhere. So let's go find that. Here it is. Okay. As a result of being story driven, the game isn't all that fun on its own. So it should be streamlined and have enough gags to make people laugh. We can't reasonably make a fun farming game that you only play for 5 minutes. At that point, it's a mini game. Well, it would have to be a mini game. They're just, I don't think you can do this. It's like some genres don't lend themselves well to only playing for 5 minutes. You know, if I sat you down with a card game, well, I don't know, maybe like actual playing cards, you might be able to learn the rules and have fun in a short amount of time. You could play solitaire or something like that. But a game like Magic the Gathering, like you couldn't even learn what the cards do in 5 minutes. But a platformer, you could learn very quickly and you could still have fun. Same thing with probably a racing game. It's like people understand what racing is, even if you've never played a video game before. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Is there anything else I want to write down here? Yeah. Also, farming games revolve around long play times, which is usually denoted by sleeping, but sleeping is significant to the story. Okay. What was the other problem that I had written down here? Yeah, the objective is to burn your energy. So yeah, that's where we'll streamline this. Okay, I'm reasonably confident about that. So we have a couple more questions here. I'll tackle these after the break, and then I think we'll get to coding shortly thereafter, unless this takes a very long time. But yeah, today's going well so far. I'm happy with it. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. All right, it is break time. Let me ask my usual question. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hello again. I don't know how long you all had to wait, so sorry about that. But my cat was in a very funny position. Close the game. Hey, Franken. I did have a nice vacation. Yeah. I hope you all had a good break. Put the farming game anywhere. You could have a seed that takes a really long time to grow. And then when credits roll, stop, go back to the farm. Yeah, this is one of the things we talked about originally, which is how much backtracking should be allowed or should be required. And I don't think backtracking should be in the early games. I also don't know what the length of the game should be, though. I'm hoping there's some clarity on this stuff. Where did I write about backtracking? Nudge a player in a certain direction, have clear UI. Well, didn't I make it so in the story you eventually unlock backtracking? Or could unlock backtracking? Glitch. Yeah, glitch hasn't been fixed. Didn't I write this down about why this hasn't been fixed? I think I wrote in the rules of the game. Yeah. What's this? Questions. Yeah, here it is. Can't do something. Games with backtracking also tend to have a try every key on every keyhole. And you eventually unlock it toward the end, right? Yeah. We actually have added it toward the end of the game when you need to rescue NPCs. I just mean you play it like a little video and show that the seed they planted did grow. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I was just saying that if you didn't plant that seed at the very beginning of the game, you'd have no way of going back to plant it so that you could see this thing in the credits, which I recognize doesn't really matter because it's just a scene in the credits. But yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? Is there a way that we can push players toward discovering what the shovel really does? So you have 5 things, right? You have the shovel, you have seeds, you have the watering can, you have the sickle, and you have the axe. So the axe we're going to repurpose for a joke. You throw it and you can run. The sickle is only for harvesting seeds, which you can't do on your first time through the game. The watering can is only for watering, which technically has no purpose in the game. The seeds are for planting, which also technically has no purpose. And the shovel is for digging, but the joke is that you can do it anywhere. I mean, you don't need to break expectations too much. Yeah. So I don't think we need to do anything here. And the bet already kind of tells you, and yeah, you happen to go outside of your house, but you don't have to. So yeah, okay. I need to think about why people would buy the game for themselves if they watch someone else play it. Could be replayability. Could be exploring the depth of each sub game. Wonder how we indicate that you should even do this. Yeah, so this is the last thing that I want to talk about here, and then I want to get to coding. Game points. Or rather, like, people buying the game after watching someone play. Okay, so yeah. One of the problems that I foresee is that people will watch someone play this on Twitch or YouTube and then not want to buy the game for themselves. I think the mitigations are there need to be enough like hidden jokes that people can discover on their own. The game mechanics need to be fun enough that even if you've seen someone play, you still want to play. And there could be other objectives that the streamer slash YouTuber didn't care about or didn't care to pursue. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's... So yeah, originally I had this idea of being able to collect 100 game points in each game. Problems. Backtracking isn't a thing until later on. So you wouldn't be able to get points that you missed. Some games may not lend themselves well to having game points. The farming game. And we can't easily indicate to you, or like there's no diegetic reason for game points to exist, probably. So we would outright tell the player, excuse me. Hey, Pickle. Hang on one sec. Let me continue coughing. Okay. Have you considered seeing how Welcome to the Game series gets a lot of viewers, yet a lot of people still play? During one playthrough, you kind of see all the game has to offer. People still play it after watching. Welcome to the Game. What is that? Is this a horror game? Yeah, horror puzzle game. Okay, I can't probably look at this on stream because it says this. But no, I have not heard of this game. I don't know how they've done it. Excuse me, man, why am I coughing so much? Let me see how long it takes to beat this game. Oh, it's pretty long. I was going to say, I think this is probably what helps. Because if there's a largely story-driven game, probably any game, if there's a game that's long enough, I think people will probably want to play it for themselves. Because if you're watching someone play for 2 hours and you're like, okay, I've been having fun watching them. Yeah, maybe I should just go buy the game. And I'm trying to think like a similar game to what I'm thinking of at least is Undertale. Undertale is in the, I don't know, like the 7 hours range to beat or something. And there are different modes and everything. And there's a lot of little jokes and stuff. But in general, if you watch someone play it, you will have consumed pretty much all the story content. So then it's still mechanically fun, at least the battles. But yeah, outside of that, you're just walking between worlds, you know, solving very tiny puzzles and mostly just seeing some jokes. But people still bought the game and they still liked it. So I don't think this is too much of a problem to worry about. But I do think having other objectives is good. Yeah, so I think we pretty much need to do all of these things. I do like the idea of tracking these bonus objectives, though. There could be a progress, or how did Banjo-Kazooie do this? They had some something on the pause menu that said like your game tabs. Oh, that's probably for guitar music, right? Pause menu. What am I doing? I want to find just the UI. What am I? Yeah, view totals. That's what they had. So view totals, I think, is a pretty good way to indicate that, hey, there's something that, yeah, here it is. Something like this, where you can see how much of each thing did you, where'd that screenshot go? Here. Well, here it is for the current world. I guess you could always see at any given time, what have you collected in the current world? But then you could see it for any world. And this indicates that, hey, at least the game is tracking this. But the difference in Banjo-Kazooie is you could go back to any world you wanted to at any time. So if you were a 3 out of 10 and left the world, it's not like, well, you're a 3 out of 10 permanently, whereas in this game you would be. So we either allow you to backtrack or I don't know. Yeah, I think that's one of the issues. I mean, maybe we should just talk about this. There could be a view totals thing from the pause menu, like in Banjo-Kazooie. All right, I should probably just clean keys as I run into this. So let me clean the J key. I should just clean the whole keyboard. It's always a problem with double typing. Okay, let's hope that works. Yeah, it seems fine now. 1 hour, 30 minutes in the same world. Same gameplay, shorter than 8 hours. Thought I'd share. Yeah, and I actually think horror games apparently run into this issue more than most because watching someone play it is probably practically the same as you playing it in terms of experience. Well, I guess not exactly the same, but yeah, I want to keep an eye on this. I don't know if it's worth planning around or doing something about. Collect bugs, then all the bugs combined together bring down the architect. Sorry if this makes no sense. From a story perspective, it doesn't make sense, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. There could be some collectible thing that you have. All right, so here's what I see as the problems. Problems with this is that... Oh, I already wrote this stuff down. I mean, we could just tell you at the end of the game how much of the progress you got at the end of each game. But I think that would be a bit of a letdown. Maybe you have to collect gems or something, but you didn't realize that you had to. We could just make them the same general icon regardless of the world. Like, they could always be diamonds, and you have one overall diamond count. We could just say that the architect likes adding some collectible. That's it, right? And that they were always the same. I mean, it's reasonable. If you're making a game, you could make the same thing in multiple games. That could potentially work. Yeah, you just have a diamond count and you think it's a currency for something, but it really isn't. There's a way of encouraging multiple playthroughs as well as streaming, not spoiling it. You have the same start, same-ish ending, but first minigame. I'm not sure I understand the first minigame part. But yeah, the multiple playthroughs, like, I do want there to be multiple endings here. I think as far as replayability goes, I just don't think it's worth aiming for too much here. Like, that's where I kind of want to just throw a bunch of content at the end of the game. So you can kind of choose to be done or you can choose to go through it. And yeah, there could be tons of world. Oh, I see. It wasn't the end of your message. Okay, yeah. That there are different mini games you can get to. Yeah. Okay, so my problem with that is actually just a little different. I like the idea, but we have finite resources to make the game. And one of the problems with, let's say, like, you have, I don't know, let's say you have to do 5 games to beat the game. And game number 2 is randomized between 3 games. So if you think about it, we're making 7 games, but tons of players will only experience 5 of them. Because if they don't ever go back and play them, then it's like, well, why did I make this extra content? And you'll also change the experience for some of those players. But it is kind of interesting that we could randomize the order of some of these things, as long as there's nothing story-driven behind them. Yeah, I have to think about that. Hey, GLFA. Thank you for the raid. This time I'm going to do a proper shout-out because I messed it up earlier. There we go. Yeah, I hope you had a good one. I am back from my vacation, and we're working on Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And we're just trying to answer some of the questions of why would people play if they watch someone else play the game? Where's the fun in this farming game? Those sorts of things. So I'm hoping that by the end of next week, I will have a more fleshed out playtestable version. We're going to get to coding probably in the next hour and then do some stuff today. Hey, Rizzo Mao. Welcome back. Thank you. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's going great. Hope you're eating good food. Hope you're exercising. Hope you're staying healthy. This is pretty interesting. This whole thing about what if we just add diamonds everywhere? The thing is, how would a player take this? Maybe they see the diamond count for each world and your overall diamond count. Thank you, David. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hope your family is proud of you. Yep, all these things. Hey, PKRW. I think this would be fine. We could never even mention. Oh, what about when you go to the dream game and you're collecting strawberries? Maybe strawberries count as diamonds? Maybe there's just a collectible in each game. The problem with man, I gotta think about this some more. Percent completion at the end. The Fever Dream game has strawberries instead of diamonds. We couldn't like just use one icon, but that's not a big deal. What was I about to say? The problem is, oh yeah, so like how do you collect things in any game? You walk into the collectible, you defeat an enemy, find a chest. This may involve exploration. You do some timed thing, you solve a puzzle. And the issue with this is we could use any of these in a game and a player might just not explore that part of the game. So like, would there be hints for these things? If you don't find them all? There weren't in Banjo-Kazooie. Like you just saw 100 music notes. It could be in some cave in the middle of nowhere that you don't go explore and you just never find it. There's no like note radar or something. We could add some kind of radar for it if we really wanted. Hope you had a great time off. Now you're full of energy. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Can I check your keyboard layout? I'm in the process of building mine. Yeah, sure. I have it public here. So yeah, this is the primary file that you would look at. And it's got all the different layers here. And they're laid out pretty visually. So like this is the left half of the keyboard, this is the right half of the keyboard. And then I named them all in such a way that hopefully makes sense. So yeah, I haven't edited this for a while now. I want to make some kind of small changes, but nothing too big. But yeah, one of my biggest pieces of advice is find out what scenarios you do and try to minimize layer switching based on those scenarios. So as an example here, this is my navigation layer. I think everyone probably ends up with a navigation layer because that's where you put things like your arrow keys. But if you think about it, like what else do you want in there? And typically one of the workflows I have is I've got a piece of text, maybe like this, for example, and I want to search for this piece of text in Google. So what I do is I hold my right thumb down, and for the entirety of this little demo, I'm probably going to be holding this down. I press copy, I switch to Chrome, I open a new tab, I press paste, and I press enter. I'm not going to press enter because I don't actually want to search for this. But that was all with holding this right thumb down, which means I was in the nav layer the entire time because copy, paste, opening tabs, closing tabs, etc. are all things that I want to do, and that minimizes the layer switches. You thought of going to 34? I don't really want to go to 34. I like having the extra thumb keys. And also in terms of desk space, it doesn't meaningfully change the footprint of the keyboard. So like whether or not these two keys existed wouldn't really change a lot. Now, if you could chop off another column or something, which I would not want to do either, then that would at least change the desk space. I would want to try a steno keyboard at some point. But yeah, these things are kind of crazy. But yeah, someday maybe I'll check it out. The problem with even trying one of these is I already know what the experience is probably going to be like. It's going to be a pretty high learning curve. It might eventually get to be faster, but like I need to practice at it, I need to keep up with it. And all for what? Like by the time I would have learned this, even if I started right now, it's probably faster for you to just speak and just have AI transcribe what you're saying, or I don't know, yeah, something like that. Do you love it? I doubt they'd be good for coding. Oh yeah, I don't think they'd be good for coding, but I think they're really good for transcriptions. 36 seems the minimum you can go, at least for me. Yeah, I think 34 is probably the minimum I would go to. How big is a Planck keyboard? I think it is more. Where's the? They don't have a. Where's the like product page? It's 4x12, so it's 48 minus probably 47 keys maybe. Yes, okay, this is bigger than I thought. Yeah. Go slower and cherish each key. Be mindful about your key usage. What's steno? Steno is it's short for stenography, which is essentially typing in syllables, and you have to change completely how you think about typing. It's like, yeah, it's like what a courtroom transcriber would use. Hey, Campbell soup. Yeah, I don't know about the radar thing. I like the idea of a collectible, but would we put them in every game? Like the farming game have this? Maybe you get them from strawberries. Maybe it would, yeah. Maybe we do have it and you have to dig up tiles in your house to get them. They would just stop appearing after you dug up so many tiles. Problem with this, by the way, this tabbing, something's different here. Like, it never used to put this space between this when I would press enter and then tab. At least I don't think so. Huh. It would probably drive people nuts to not know how to find them. Like, it's sort of unreasonable to assume that you need to use your shovel in the house. Maybe there's some like self-aware character in the game, and if you talk to them, they'll tell you something like that. Thank you, GLFA, and thanks for the raid. I hope you have a good one too. Take care. There could be a self-aware agent in each game, or maybe not even a self-aware agent. There could be an NPC who gives you a hint in each game about how to do this. Feels like the kind of game that would have a self-aware character. Yeah. Hey, Rusius. Maybe they're self-aware. I mean, this doesn't necessarily matter. But yeah, I think I like this idea. I think we put a collectible in each game and we track it per game. Yeah. Overall, I like this idea. And I think it would lead to people exploring and testing things out in each game. I don't want these things to be timed though, so we have to be a little bit careful. And I also want to be forgiving with it. So if you have to collect 50 of something, we make it so there are 70 of that thing. And we consider you to have 100% even if you only collected 50 when there were 70. Who's the antagonist? Could be self-aware, helping you, but not helping in secret. This is supposed to be mostly like a feel-good game. So there's someone who seems like the antagonist at the beginning, but they're not really. And yeah, in terms of problem, there's always this like person versus person, person versus world, person versus, I don't know what the other ones were, nature or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, this one's more like a person versus the world kind of thing. So yeah, it's not it's like an accidental antagonist. Okay, so what would we need for this? I think we need to write this down. Yeah, I'll write this down over here. Replayability. One of the considerations that I had while doing initial designs is that people may watch a streamer slash YouTuber play the game and then not want to buy it for themselves. I think there are 3 primary mitigations for this that make sense. And they're the ones I wrote down in this scratch tab somewhere. So let's go find that. Need to be enough hidden jokes that people can discover on their own. Game mechanics need to be fun enough that even if you've seen someone play, you still want to play. There could be other objectives that the streamer didn't pursue. So, however, I think that's pretty much it. So, regarding objectives, okay, never mind. This is double and triple typing still. I probably need to just clean the entire keyboard at this point. Hey, Magnus. Nice to see you're still sticking to your capitalization. And thank you. And hey, Raccoon. New mind, new idea. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty refreshed. You could have a bunch of shallow dialogue branches, each with a joke. Yeah, I think we're going to end up doing that. I've actually got a little bit of that going on in the farming game already. I don't know if you've seen the dialogue, but... Where is it? Yeah, so at some point, the tutorial guy asks, like, hey, do you want a ton of detail about how to play the game? He says, sure thing, to sleep, go into your house, face the bed, tuck yourself in using the blanket, and then start talking about, like, you can grab a plate and load it up with food. You actually can't do any of this stuff. But then if you're like, okay, I get it, haha, that's funny, whatever, I'm done though, you can say, I'll pay you to leave me alone. But if you do say, tell me about the stamina system, then he just keeps going on about mechanics that don't exist in the game. So I hope some people enjoy that. But yeah, some people will just be like, I don't want to do this, and that's fine. So regarding objectives, I think it's a good idea to have collectibles in each game world. It's reasonable that the architect would have made them look the same so they can always be diamonds or coins or something. Some guidelines for us. Anything that's hidden behind a puzzle should have some kind of hint somewhere in the world about how to solve that puzzle. In the farming game, if you get diamonds by digging up the floorboards in your house, then an NPC should ask if you thought of trying your tools in the house. Yeah. Can't wait to see people play this. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And none of this should be timed unless there's backtracking or retrying allowed. We could... Hey, yo, thanks for the resub. 30-month streak. That's 2.5 years. Wow. Yeah, much obliged. So we could ask the player if they want to restart a game if they didn't get all of the collectibles. What did I just do? I don't think that's a great idea. I think just allowing retrying somehow would probably be best. Keep him on screen for 30 seconds after he starts spinning. I'm going to write this down. Yeah. Okay. And we shouldn't require the player to get 100% of everything. For example, could have the counter stop at 50 diamonds in the platformer, even if we really have 75 in that game. Yeah. Okay, I like that idea. I think we'll need to add this eventually. Wow, look at me go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so do I have a new issue tab? Let me do this off screen. Oh, this should be fine. Two-factor authentication. Go log in on your phone. Did it work? It worked. And is it in the right repo? It's in the right repo. Okay, so add collectibles. See this part of the design document. In short, we need each game to have collectibles. We need UI somewhere to show you how many you've gotten. Maybe it even shows on each save file to indicate that they could be important. There should be a breakdown by subgame. Y Godot over Unity? I think I have a Y Godot. Yeah, there we go. Maybe this only shows subgames you've been to so far. We shouldn't require 100% of any subgames collectible. We need graphics that match each subgame for the diamonds. Or for them to not be diamonds, either one. Why shouldn't the teacher enable that on the admin account? Well, that sounds cool. And what else? Need to save this in the save file. Oh, I see. Gotcha. There's one admin account. Okay, cool. So that's done. Is that everything? Like, is that enough? Do we need to do more here? Do we need to do more on this front? And questions after checkpoint. Do players explore? Do players like seek out the collectibles? Do they explore parts of the world for funny mechanics? And what was the other thing that I had here? Oh yeah, and do they continue playing games that are mechanically fun? How do we allow people to continue playing? Like, let's say there is a, hey, accomplish this objective. You have to do it. You know, imagine another game. It's like defeat 10 enemies. And they do it. They have fun. And they're like, I want to do more of that. How do we let them do more of that? I didn't think about that. Yeah, we don't have that kind of game yet. But we will have it, right? Also, people might get annoyed if you can't go back to old games and get the collectibles. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. How do we allow people to play mechanically fun games again? We could just show them a portal and not require them to go into it. Can have an in-game menu. So we can. It's just a question of, does it make sense from a story perspective? I don't think it does. Yeah, that's our problem, right? Yeah, I think we need to figure out whether that's possible. I got to write this down over here somewhere. Rules of the world. You're only allowed to be in the real world for so long at a time. So if you could backtrack, then you could... Wait, backtracking is unlocked. Oh, man. I gotta make sure this makes sense. Where is it? Here we go. Go through games this time around, username, snaps them back to reality, even the architect tells reports to those games. Go back into the games. Where did I mention that the glitch gets fixed? Architects originally having architects talks about fixing games. Go back into the games, try to get the NPCs to join you. They don't care, they don't have agency. Targeted teleport. Okay, so yeah, at this point you can backtrack. It's at this point that you unlock backtracking. Now that the architect is fully on your side, i.e. it shouldn't have story implications for you to keep making it back to the real world. But it would before that. So if you could unlock backtracking sooner than we actually let you, your character could presumably go back to the initial platformer and use it to keep meeting the architect. It would throw off the story. However, once you do unlock backtracking, we could... It's going to be annoying because there are going to be so many scenarios we have to test. Let you go back to any sub games so you can get the collectibles. Not sure how the Fever Dream game would make sense to go back to. As in, that's a question to ask if it was a farming game. I don't know what you mean with that, Krasner. Like, the problem, just to be clear, at least on this end, is I want to add collectibles to each sub-game, but I think some players will be annoyed if they missed some, but have to replay the entire game to get them. So, like, we do give the player the ability to go to a subset of the games at the end. But to address the collectible problem, we need to let them go to every game. Yeah. And it just doesn't make sense from a story perspective. Like, are we sending you back in time? That's one way we could do this. That's how, like, Final Fantasy VII did this, where you could replay a chapter and it was as though you had never played it. So any, like, story or, hey, I just found this thing out, the character would just say, hey, I just found this thing out the second time and the third time and the fourth time. So it's not like they have some memory of, oh, yeah, remember when I told you about this? Because, like, you did have to make a crazy amount of cutscenes to account for that. So it could be that style where you go back and it's as though you're just playing it for the first time. Yeah, maybe we do that. Driven through the gag or gaming of doing things? No, the fun is the brokenness and progression. Looping back because it's fun for farming game person. The go and play Stardew unless you spend years and years doing systems. Yeah. So yes, I think that is the appeal, and that's where I think adding collectibles is a double-edged sword, because on one hand it's fun, it adds another objective. On the other, I learned a lot from making achievements in Skeleseller, and the achievements that I had kind of bothered some people. Like one of them was to beat the game with only the rogue and mage. So if you knew this ahead of time, yeah, sure, you could do it. Although then you're probably not having fun playing the game the first time around. But then you had to replay the game just to get this. Imagine if there's something like 57 minutes in, press F12 on your keyboard. Like, this isn't fun to go back and do. Now, granted, the collectibles should hopefully be fun, but some of them might be a little bit challenging. Hey, Mohit Kumar, welcome back. Maybe at some point late in the game, they give you their games. Yeah, I think being able to go back to old games makes sense. I think there are kind of just two questions that I have. One is, when going back to the games, are you going back in time as well, like FF7R did, or chapter select? And two is, how does it make sense to go into the Fever Dream games specifically? Maybe it doesn't, so those collectibles don't count, even though you could get them. Where's the fun in the collecting? Will getting the collection be fun, or is it just ticking the number of the list? Yeah, it's just counting a number. But I still think that will appeal to some people. Because we can't give you any like increased ability or power. Like even in Super Mario Bros., you get 100 coins, it turns into a 1-up. And this would let you play the game for longer if you weren't very good at it, let's say, because then you wouldn't have died as soon. But that same concept doesn't really exist here. And yeah, in other games, like you get 10 of this thing and now you do more damage or you move faster or something. There's no generic thing we could do for that. They're fun because the player learned and is now better rather than just the game rules being different. So the experience is nominally different. Well, that one particular achievement, yeah, but some of them were like play every bone mode scenario, which should have been fun, but wasn't for everybody. And some of them were like just meant to be jokes, but people like really want to get the achievements. These wouldn't necessarily be achievements. So yeah, I guess you could just avoid them, but I think people will feel the same way about them, which is that they want to do it. We could even rewind time for this so that it's like you're in that game for the first or second time. Or second time. In case of the farming game. Then it would just update the collectible count. Yeah. This could get out of hand if players are going back to play a fun sub game. Or you add some tracking analytics to help you build your next game. Well, how could it get out of hand? If people are going back to play a game, I think that's okay. Maybe, well, yeah, the other question I haven't answered is, how do you go back to replay games that you found fun? Backtrack to it later, maybe with some options. They'd be stuck playing sub games on finishing the game. I mean, that's fine. I don't think that would get out of hand. If you're playing a part of the game that you like, that's okay. I do wonder too, how, like, if people play a game that they like or a sub game that they like and want to keep playing, this may slightly bother them. I mean, we could turn it into its own game that you get back to and you've got some options you can set. I think that makes maybe the most sense. Let them go back into the game and choose options for it. difficulty, starting point, etc. Oh, more playable for the ones going back to it. Yeah. I mean, I think making the games in the first place is already a lot of work, such that later tweaking the rules of them hopefully wouldn't be too bad. This is tough because some games might be standalone and fun. Other games might just be for one gag, and going back would just be to get the collectibles. So this space shooter game that I talked about, imagine we look up something like this, and yeah, imagine we got this now, and we look at some. They don't have like a world thing here. I just want to find a picture of. All right, well, I don't see a picture that I'm looking for. I'll try one more. Let's go with this. Just want to find some like world thing that we have now or whatever. I can't find something. Yeah, so imagine we have some space shooter game and you had to progress through a world and scrolling from left to right here. And the joke is that you actually have to go in the wrong direction to beat this game. There's not going to be, I mean, maybe the replayability would be like defeat the boss even though you're not supposed to. Yeah, we'll have to think of that. Maybe we just paper over that and say this game never actually existed, but you can act like it did anyway and play it. Yeah, I think we need to do that. So we should present the player with some parameters that they can customize. For a standalone game that's fun, we could let them change the difficulty, gameplay. Why is it not typing? Oh, that was weird. Gameplay length, like number of enemies, etc. For something like the farming game, we could just let them pick before dream or after dream. We probably need cheats for all this stuff anyway, or most of the stuff. Why is it? It's just like lagging. I'm gonna refresh this. A lot more UI to make. Yeah, maybe we even present a rewind time to this point for collectibles versus free play. Option, yeah. I could see this working. I could see this. Like, a lot of this comes down to what games do we actually have, right? Right now, I have the platformer. We have the farming game before the dream. We have the dream platformer, and then we have the farming game after the dream. And that's it. And eventually we'll have things like a space shooter and a card game and a whatever, some roguelike thing. And if some of these are just gags and some of them are story driven and maybe one of them ends up being fun, then you'd really only go back and free play the one game that was fun. But I don't know what these games are even going to be yet. But I do think having, yeah, maybe we set those up for achievements. You could even set this up for the sake of achievements. The space shooter could have beat all 3 bosses when you're really supposed to just avoid them in the main game. The bosses could also drop diamonds. Oh, that's another thing I hadn't thought about, which is with collectibles, we could have multiple sources of them. I hadn't talked about that, did I? We could even have multiple sources to make it easier. It's still doing that thing where I already typed. Watch, it's going to type out EG and then a space, I think. Yeah, there. Like, why is it lagging that badly? You have multiple sources. In the space shooter, maybe you can find diamonds while traveling, but you could also defeat the bosses for more 50 at a time. Hey, Worry, thank you very much. Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm just planning some things out. I think we've got enough to be able to move on now. Yeah. So what do we still have to do? I guess we need to look at the polish list too. And also just play the game. Yeah, I'll put this off until Monday, maybe. Need to finish checkpoint 1 by Friday. Okay. All right, so we're on the flesh out the game bit more, right? Okay. Good. Yeah, nice. Well, this has been very helpful. All right, yeah. I don't have Grammarly, no. And this has happened in the past and it just kind of fixes itself after some time, or I thought refreshing would fix it. Maybe it's because I have two different documents open or two different tabs open with the same document. And I believe there is some like cross tab API that could happen. So maybe they're using that and this document is just too long now. How long is this? I don't think this is the word count for the whole document. No, this can't be. Yeah, it's only for this tab, right? So if I go to this tab now, it's going to be a different amount. Yeah. So, okay, this is probably the longest tab here, but this is probably just too much. Yeah, this is, I don't know, just counting those right now is like 30,000 words. There's another 4,000. That one's very tiny. And this one's 2,000. Yeah, so maybe it's like 35,000 words. I don't think that's too long, but who knows? Okay, so I'm going to get to coding in just a bit. I want to take another break, and then we'll get into it. Is it jump time?
It's jump time.
Hello again. Hey, Leo. Hey, Nat. Close the game. Okay, so let's get to it. Close the game. There we go. All right, to make energy drain a bit faster. I mean, is this the way to go about this? We can definitely boost this. So that's 50% more than it was. Planting seeds can be 33% more. Whoops, that's not how you do that. That's how you do that. And movement can be a little bit more. Yeah, so it's 1/6 more. So overall, it's going to be faster now. Let's just see what it'd be like now if we were to just go play that. It's just listening and transcribing, listening for keywords. Yeah. That was the coding project that I did a while ago. It's called Vocal Streamer. Okay, so let's go test this out. Okay. So here we are. I would like to skip this. Need to wait for the dialogue to start. There we go. Okay, so how much can we do before energy drains? Oh, you can't see this. Let me do this. There, now you can see the energy bar. I think I was a little bit conservative about this. It doesn't take that long. You can water. Yeah, I think that's probably good. And I'll keep an eye on this in playtesting, because you only need to get down to 20%. And even just walking to bed now will probably get me close there. It doesn't ever tell you the percent, it just tells you if you're ready or not. But what? I had to dig. Oh, no, I guess I was. Huh, okay. I had to dig 4 times and walk around a little bit, and now I can use the bed. Yeah. I think that's fine. Yeah, let's check that in. What is this? I didn't mean to change that. So increase energy usage. The farming game isn't exactly fun on its own, so I don't think we should keep players in it for as long as we used to. So across the board, energy usage is now up. It's hard to say how people are going to drain their energy, so I can't. I mean, if all you did is walk around, you could have already drained it, and now it'll be slightly faster. But if all you're doing is using tools, it'll now be a lot faster. So yeah, I don't know what's going to average out to be. Probably doesn't matter too much. And I always kind of say this. If you have these values in any game for anything, damage numbers, life numbers, whatever, it's like they might make sense on paper and it might not feel good once you play it. So it doesn't really matter what it is on paper. It matters how it feels. And I always think about any competitive multiplayer game where it's zero sum, like there's one winner, let's say, or one winning team. Something that feels good for one player may feel bad for another, and not in like a normal way. So for example, in chess, if your opponent moves a piece, like you understand the rules of the game, it's not that, oh man, pawns are overpowered or something. It's like, well, you have those things too. The tools are the same. It's symmetrical. It's just who started first. But in other games, especially like class-based games, so you're playing a PvP game or a shooter or something like that, someone else's ability might feel unfair to you. And this was something that happened for the entirety of StarCraft. There are 3 races, and at any given time, you had all of the different races complaining about all the other races that were in the game. Protoss is overpowered, or Zerg gets too many units early on, and the complaints just never stopped. And to some extent, it's like, well, you'll never get the complaints to stop because it's gamers we're talking about here. But maybe that actually indicates that there's some level of balance that's there. You still need to look at outliers. But yeah, it's when something feels bad enough or feels bad for a portion of the player base, you need to do something about it. And I think that applies to single player games too, but it's not zero sum as a single player game. Your goal is to let the player have fun. Maybe it's through difficulty, maybe it's through puzzle solving. All right, so this is finished. Now we need to use steel tools. I think this is just swapping out the graphics. But before you swapped out the graphics, let's see if it looks like a question mark, because that was the main problem. The reason that's causing me to do this. There was one other reason for this too, which was that the tools you're swinging actually look like they are steel tools and not copper tools. Where is this? Assets I bought, Farm RPG. Where are you? Maybe in character? No, wait. No, it'd be icon. I don't see it here. I see weapons. I think it might be in UI. I don't know where this is. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Huh. Is it in weapons? RPG. Oh, there they are. That's an RPG weapon. All right, so we presumably use 2 because this looks like copper. And we want something else here. I don't know what. Maybe this one? Yeah, this looks less like a question mark now, too. This is not copper everything. Is there a better one, though? What about this? This is presumably supposed to be silver, and this is supposed to be iron. That's my guess. Yeah. So I'm leaning toward 3 right now, but is there a better one? No, that's pretty good. Because then they have ones like this, which are pink. I like this. I like the little cat wand that they have. But yeah, let's use the other one. Hey, L colon Q. It was a nice vacation, and thank you. Yeah, I had some just time off, which was needed. Got to see family. Did not spend a lot of time thinking about the game, which, I mean, it's a pro or a con, depending how you look at it. Vacation 2. I haven't shared where I went, but it was just to visit family. So it's not like I went somewhere, fantastical or known for being great. It was just where my family lives. And atypical burnt out. All right, so let's copy this over here. Game, assets, sprites, UI, farming, icons. Yeah, here it is. All right, so wherever we use 2.png, I just want to replace it with 3.png. 2.png. Oh, this isn't even the right code base. Yeah, so all of these should change. There. And that should do it. Now we just should have the steel tools in the game. Oh, I thought India, no. Yeah. All right, so start game, I guess. And now get into the farming game. Is that what? Huh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, now I have the new tools. Do they look like what they're supposed to? Kind of. This isn't as shiny. Oh, and it's a green watering can. Oh, man. Am I gonna need to like recolor everything? Yuck. I think they have some way of doing this. Character, ping, watering, weapons, watering. Aw, man, they do. Although none of these are green, weirdly enough. Yeah, none of them are green. We could just not do anything about it for now. Yeah, we could just not do anything about it for now. What is it using when I use, I don't have the pickaxe. I have the axe though. The axe has a red, I don't know what you call that, like the part behind the blade. Head, probably. Where is the axe? This one probably. Meh. Eh. I don't know. Yeah, probably at some point in the future I should make this fit. But for now, I think it's okay. Use a watering can and it comes out green. Even though it's silver on the bar. Yeah, I probably just don't worry about that. But yeah, the sickle doesn't look like a question mark anymore. So that's nice. All right, now what if we go into the Fever Dream game? So yeah, this is the same bar, but it's flinging out the wrong tools. So I got to figure that out now. Icon slash 2.png. Weird. Where would that be? Weird. Here it is. Why didn't I find these? Because they're not considered part of the solution? And it's in what, like 7 of these? Man, that's too bad. All right, well, let's fix it. Now I got to do this all over. Is there a find again? F4? No, there isn't. I got to do that. Three, okay. Yeah, there we go. Did I do it through this? Like open results in new tab? Nope. Okay. Well, let's write that down. Rider changes. So allow F4 and shift F4 to go between search results. Or like find in files results. All right, so now we should be done though, right? If I start this up again. Now when you go to the Fever Dream game, it should shoot out iron tools. Although the watering can might still be green. No, that wouldn't make sense. That's not right. I need to open this, right? No, something's just wrong. Strange. Very strange. Because 2.png doesn't even show up anymore. It's like it didn't update the scenes or something. But it should automatically update. No, yeah, weird. What is going on? Is there another graphic where that exists? I thought I was just pulling it from the icons. Maybe I wasn't. Oh, I had to be. Okay, let me try something else here. Let's go over to here and search for 2.png. Yeah, it doesn't show anywhere else. I'm confused at how this did not update. Oh, because I'm doing it by UID. Okay, never mind. I understand. It's not even using the path. So all those files I just modified, we need to change this. Okay. I'm glad I realized something's off. 3.png, here it is. Can we get the UID? Yep, there it is. Okay. All right, let's go fix that. So replace that. And pretty much all the other ones. In fact, we could just search for this now. Yeah. Can you replace right in here? I have not used this in Rider yet. There's got to be a way, though. I don't actually know how you do that. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. Rider, replace all in solution, all in files. Find and replace text in solution. Where do you do this? Here it is. It's just a different flow. Command Shift R by default. That flow does not work for me. Oh, Command Shift H. Ah, here we go. I just want to replace it in some of these files though, namely these. Can I it's trying to replace it in like a cache. I don't want it to replace it in the cache. Oh man. All right, well, I guess we could scope down to the scenes and then it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, there we go. Replace all. All right, now it should work. And then we got to go delete the old tools that we had, the copper ones. I gotta make that fade out not take so long. Hey, look at that. Let's full screen this. Okay, looks good, looks good. That's good, although the one that you use when you're holding it is green. There's another thing I gotta think about is the collectibles that you get. We just give you a random number of strawberries just because I thought it was funny to do that. But players might get mad about that. That's why we're not going to require them all anyway. Also got to add some kind of like weapon swinging in here. Give me the strawberries. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. So now we go delete the other thing that we had. Is this going to go to Godot? Possibly. Not going to wait for it. So we find 2.png and delete it. It says it's being used in a bunch of places. It shouldn't be. Let me go look at those places. Hotbar slot. Did that fix it? Yeah, it's the steel tool. So now if I try deleting it, does it say that it's still being used there? It does. What? I need to reload the project? It might be something that got cached. I don't normally do things this way and probably shouldn't have done them this way even here. Let's find out if that did anything. Oh, nice. It worked now. Okay, cool. Well, intuition was correct. That's always nice. So we check in everything here. I could look through the changes, but honestly, they're just changing a 2 to a 3 everywhere, right? And a UID. So yeah, replace tool images with iron tools. I had copper ones before, but the problem is that the sickle looked like a question mark to people. The tool sprite that shows on the character doesn't match the one in the hotbar now. But it's not really a huge problem. All right, what next? Add running. So yeah, this is pretty silly what I'm about to do, but in this game, you can use your axe and it does literally nothing. And free play, there we go. So yeah, if you swing your axe, it just swings. You never can actually strike something. You can't, there are no trees in the game. But yeah, what I want to have this do is just throw the axe on the ground when you swing it. Which means we need to isolate that graphic probably. And then, or we could just have it throw this on the ground. Or we could just not even use the animation. It could just be that your character like drops it out of their body. Yeah, we don't have a throwing animation. Just trying to think of how we're going to do this. Because we could switch to this graphic. Yeah, it'd be nice if there were a throwing animation. There probably is a throwing animation for something else. Idle, walk, run, shovel, watering, sword attack, carrying throwing items. What does this look like? Yeah. I guess they could hold it above their head and use the throwing animation. Let me go find that. Have it thrown when run out of energy. Well, I want to have you throw it when you just try to use it. So who do we use? This person? Throwing? Yeah, here we go. Throwing items. So she'd hold the axe above her head and then just throw it. So it would not be the swinging animation into a throw. Also, it's kind of weird that they look like scrunched up like this. Hey, Mr. Demon Wolf. Still blows my mind that software is free now. You mean like Affinity? Hmm. Oh, that this particular software, not just software in general, you mean? I see. Also, please do try to mind segmenting. Okay, so we have, yeah, two options for throwing the axe, which is like use the swing animation and then bridge it into a throwing animation somehow. I think it's going to be too hard. Or just use the throwing animation with the axe icon. I think that's how we have to do this. Yeah. I think it's going to be a little bit tough. But, yeah. Why not, right? All right, so we'll have to go plug this into the game. Try that out. Hey, Wadasaka. I took the vacation command out, but yeah, I was on vacation from the 4th to whatever Wednesday was. And I was just visiting family. It was pretty good. It was nice. I'm back. I'm ready to work. Let's go plug them in as a character in the farming game. All right, so throwing items. Farm player. Yeah, so we have all these different animations. And now we're going to need them for throwing in particular directions. And how does the item actually... Do we just have the graphic above their head the whole time? I wonder if they have this on Itch Farm. Where is it? This? Yeah. Did they ever show the throwing animation? I want to see what it's supposed to look like. I see petting. Ah, there it is. So the position where they hold the item changes. And they throw it to the ground. Were you always using a Mac? I bought my Mac back in... Where is it? I want to say 2023. Why can't I find this here? There it is, Mac. Yeah, 2023. I got it. So it's been almost 3 years now. But I was using Windows for all the Botland days. Okay, so yeah, we gotta go do this. I just don't like doing this. Don't I already have a holding item thing and it changes where you're holding the item? Where's that? Ah, here it is. Hold item. And then as you move, the held item node changes. Yeah. Ugh, we gotta do the same thing. All right, well, how about we just have it work going downward for right now? So let's duplicate this. And we'll call it throw item down. And then we got to change a bunch of stuff. So the texture over here should change. This, we just quick load in throw. And then H frames is 5 and V frames is 3. So 5, 3, that's already fine. Okay, and then because it's 5 now, we need an extra frame, or else they'll never go back into their standing position. So we have to set this to 1, and then add in one more frame at the end. Yeah, right here, 0.8. We insert a key that is set to 4. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So that's a throwing animation. Then whenever we need to, I guess, add in an item here. So what do we, I don't know, do we have an item? Axe. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we changed the order based on which way they're facing. So I got to put this here for now. What is going on? Is it just matching their hair color? Is that why that's happening? I think it is. I honestly can't tell. I want to make this red or pink or something. Yeah, it is. Okay. So it just matches their hair color, and that's why I couldn't see it. So this is how it looks like when they're holding the item. It doesn't really look like they're holding the axe, to be honest. But I guess it's close enough. So maybe the position of this doesn't matter too much. And then this should lower it down. To where, though? I don't know. What is going on right now? I think we need to do this. And then switch into throw item. And then start changing this. I didn't mean to change the easing. So back to 1. All right, so now we can move this. So when throwing it, we probably put it like there. And then I guess you'd have thrown it even at that point. Yeah, so at this point, it'd probably stop being an item in their hands and become an item in the world. And we just take it from the held item position. Yeah, probably. Why does this look so weird? All right, well, we'll need to do some tweaking of this anyway. And then over here, I guess we lower this down even more, just delete this one. And then add in one more node. Huh, the timings of these are very, very slightly off. I think when you duplicate a node, it might move the other one to the side. And then, I don't know, just make this even lower down. All right, so this is cheating, the way that I've done this. And I had moved this, and I need to delete this. So we've only gotten it working throwing downward. Then I think we need to modify the animation tree so you can actually enter this animation. Throw item. No, we don't do it like this. I have to add in a new blend tree, I think this is. Blend space 2D. Okay. And this is going to be throw. And we probably needed to match this. In fact, can you duplicate one of these? No. Apparently you can't. All right, well, that's fine. It shouldn't be hard to just copy this stuff, right? You can't copy this. All right, fine. So that's 0, 2, and this is axe down. We don't even have that state. I guess I'll go duplicate it. I should probably make a tool at some point that lets me do this more easily because this is annoying. So duplicate this to right and to up. And then go back into the animation tree, edit this, add a point. I don't know how you add points, create points. What is happening? Why? No triangles exist, so no blending can take place. What? I'm on create points. It's opening the right click menu for some reason. Is my mouse messing up? No. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, I guess it is just add animation. All right. Yeah. I guess I'm being a doofus. Okay. I just haven't done this in a while. All right. So the other place where we had done this was here, for example, axe. And the top one is set to throw item down. And it's at 0, 2, 2, 0, and 0, -2. And down is actually on top. So we just had to mimic that same thing. So 0, 2, this is throw item down. Then add throw item right. That's not even correct. And then throw item up. Okay. Set all of these to discrete. And I think we're good. Is there anything else I had checked over here? Nope. Looks good. Okay, so now all we need is a connection, which we actually technically don't need because we teleport anyway, right? But we need a connection back because this is at end of animation. We go back to idle. This is just enabled. I don't even think we need that. I think we just do this. Done and done. Easy. Okay. Now we need a way for you to enter this animation. So go to farm player. And we have some like axe usage somewhere. Or maybe farming game does it. Why is axe not showing up? Oh, it's matching case sensitive. That's why. Why is that happening? Huh, interesting. Okay. So force animation state, axe animation. This is going to have to change to throw animation. Throw animation. And let's just try that. So all it's going to do is look like we're throwing it downward, but we're not actually throwing it. And then the axe is probably going to disappear. And something else is going to go wrong. I don't know. We got a lot of weird issues right now. So let's start us in the farming game and free play. And then we got to make sure that you don't keep the axe afterward. So we're going to need some kind of save state in between this. So let's try this facing down. Yeah, so we never added the axe to their body. And they never leave this state because I probably accidentally set it to looping. Funny how I messed up practically everything, huh? There. All right, looping is done. Also need to allow the player to run based on whether they have the axe. Even after returning to the game. And there's one other thing I thought of. Oh yeah, I need to add in the run animations. Maybe have it drain more energy. All right, so we enter the animation. We did not add the held item node because now when they are holding the item, we need to have this work correctly. There were 2 items you could hold, a strawberry and the seeds. And now it's also going to be the axe. Is holding item. What is this used for? Yeah, I see. Okay, or the axe. So now how would it know to show the correct graphic above your head? Starting item, strawberry seeds. Here it is, yeah. Okay, so we got to change this. Oh, did I never check in? Why is this orange? I never... No, I did check this in. Yeah, I did. I didn't check in the deletion. Whoops. Yeah, okay, well, let's go do that. We'll check that, and we'll amend the last commit. Amend. But why did anything change in here? The rectangle changed. It added a comma. Oh, because I just never saved this file before. Okay, that's fine. And it adds a new line at the end. Okay, that's annoying, but I guess still fine. This is all good. This is fine for now. Should have to change eventually, and that's okay. And that's everything, right? Yep. Now we're just images. Okay, so now you can hold the axe above your head, but throwing it's going to still be weird. And we need to delete the axe from your hotbar. And it doesn't look like you're holding the axe because I never actually changed the texture. But did I not even copy paste it? I did not. Okay. That explains why nothing's there. Axe. All right, so what does it look like? It's not even in that location. It's UI, farming, icons. It's this. Well, I already do that somewhere, so we can search for 3.png. Okay, so which one is the axe? We should just copy paste that. Here it is. 48.0. Done. Okay, so now it should look like we're holding the axe. Which is what I meant to do originally. Yep, cool. The animation is very fast. Is it just always that fast? Huh. And it doesn't really look like they're holding it because it is at an angle. Should we rotate it so it looks like it's resting in their hands? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. This also says seed sprite. It's not the seed sprite. This should be held sprite or something. Also, the held sprite stuff is the same for all of these. So let's just put this here. Yeah, no matter what we're adding in. Well, we have else ifs here. Is this done whenever you switch items? It is. Okay. So we need to know that you're actually holding an item. So we could do sprite 2D question mark held sprite equals null. And then change this. And then just move this down to the bottom if it's not null. And delete them from here. Can we also change the sprite's texture filter at the bottom? I guess we could. I guess the better way of doing this is just get the... this is fine. All right, yeah, I'll change the texture filter at the bottom. Held sprite dot texture filter equals nearest. All right, that's slightly cleaner. Now, what is it saying about this? There's a switch expression. Yeah. I don't really know if I like that better, but it's not bad. All right, now what about rotating it? Oh, wait, this wouldn't work if I'm going to do an expression like that, huh? Yeah, because I might need to change the angle. Rotation degrees equals 45. This is probably in the wrong direction. Oh, wait, could we also do this even in a... doing a switch statement, I guess. Yeah, it's cleaner that way. I'm not certain this will look good. Actually, that's pretty decent. We would just also need to... Wait, does that look good? Yeah, I guess so. We just need to move it down so that it looks like it's in their hands. I don't know. It does look kind of weird because we are rotating it, so it's got all these like jagged edges here. Maybe just lower the sprite entirely. Like, don't do this. Just do held sprite dot position, or maybe the offset equals vector 2 dot down times 4. I should just load this in Godot. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not bad. There's nothing that's going to make it look like you're actually holding this unless we rotate it. Because if your character is holding their arms above their head like this and the axe is at an angle, it's like you're not physically holding both parts of it. But I like it better than rotating the sprite. So maybe just not 4 pixels, maybe a little bit. Or maybe move to the right a little bit. Actually, moving to the right is probably better. So plus equal new vector 2, 1, 4. All right, well, let's tweak that a little bit later. So you are now holding the axe. Now what happens if you press the button? It looks very stupid, but yeah, it looks very stupid. Hey, Montero, thank you for the sub. Yeah, I was trying to think if I've seen your name before, but I guess I can just click it and find out. I have. Yeah, you were here back in the Skeletor development time. Yeah, thanks for subbing. Okay, so we probably need this animation to go faster. Oh, also, you shouldn't be able to cut it off as you're... Yeah, you can just walk out of it. Yeah, I gotta stop that from happening. Prevent you from walking while throwing an item. Shouldn't that already be the case? Oh, no, because we compare in Farming Player whether you're performing an action here. And there's axe animation. It should now be the throw animation. In fact, we should just delete the axe animation. Yeah, I think we can probably get a decent amount of this done before lunchtime. Probably the whole feature that I wanted. And I think this is a pretty funny joke. So I think it's worth doing. So now you shouldn't be able to move. Yep, nice. While you're throwing it, at least. The throwing animation still looks really stupid. And it's snapping the axe back to the beginning. So we needed to eventually switch to a thrown item that ends up on the ground. And whenever you try moving close, it goes away from you. All right, so at some point in its travel, we need to delete it. We need to remove it from your hotbar. All right. I mean, we should probably just have a function call here. We must have one already. Yeah, we do. All right, and again, we're only going to get this to work for downwards right now. So call a method on Farming Player, which is going to be like throw axe. There's used axe. I guess that's what we want. Yeah, I guess that's what we want. So where is axe tile used? Oh, it's called from... Oh, I see. All right, so I'll just write to do delete me. And same thing, probably this too, right? Well, I'll look into what sound I want. Figure out what sound we want for throwing the item. Maybe it still sounds like using an axe. I don't know what that sound even was supposed to be, but we'll find it later. So, and then we also have the axe animation somewhere. We're going to need to delete that too. It's already marked as unused. All right, so used axe, I guess delete, but we want through axe. And we need a... Oh, that should not look like that. We need a throw axe. And we need to know what direction we should be throwing it in too, right? We can figure out our facing direction, can't we? Invoke. Why do we even need to do this? So the hotbar can know? Yeah. I guess the position doesn't really matter. Oh, maybe it does. It might. But the facing direction definitely matters. Do we have that somewhere? We get a cardinal. Why is this always highlighted? Am I doing that? I must be. Direction, facing. None of this is finding anything. But even the word through isn't finding anything. What's going on? I'm very confused at this point. Even capitalize is not finding anything. Something is amiss. I wonder if it's that plugin that I made. Probably is. Oh, man. It's just so strange. Yeah, I can't even search for things now. Huh. That's bizarre. Should I go disable that plugin, I guess? Find next with wrap. Do I need to disable this? Oh, there we go. All right, so now can I search for through? No, I still can't. So it's not the plugin that's doing that? What? All right, let's just restart the IDE. I don't know. I've never seen this before. This is one of the reasons I wanted to switch from VS Code. So it is a little bit disappointing that I'm still having to do this, but for different reasons now. So now can I search for the word through? Yeah, now it's working just fine. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Whoops.
And I forgot what I was doing now. All right, well, throw axe. Let's go get this. So here, somewhere around maybe like this point. Throw item down. Let's look at that graphic online again. It's kind of in between these two things. It's like here is where you'd expect it to be thrown. Throw axe. The position we can get. Oh, right. I was searching for facing. And we do have a facing direction, and we have prior cardinal direction right there. So I don't think we need this at all. Yeah, I don't think we need a position or anything. Throw axe. Yeah, just delete this. We're going to get the held item position. Held item node dot position. And then we need to know the facing direction. So this thing gets invoked right now with just a single vector 2. It's going to be 2 vector 2s, the position and the direction. And nothing's going to happen as a result of this. But hey, we're calling it now. So we don't need any arguments for this anymore. Arg count 0. That's weird. You can't type nil. What? I can't press down on this? It's a spinner. I have to type 0? What are we, in the Stone Age right now? Okay. So now we have a whole bunch of things get handled from the farming game, or the player proxy thing that we have. I don't know, let's just search for used axe. Here it is, player provider dot through axe on player through axe. Okay, so through axe. Cool. And another one of these. Through. All right, so the only thing that listens for this is this, and this doesn't do anything right now. That is over here. Yeah. So this is a position and a direction. And what we want to do is like stop the hotbar from having a slot for the axe and then enable your running ability. I don't have a way to remove an item, do I? Because we just never needed this. Yeah. So I gotta go add that in first. We have a way of adding an item. Public void remove axe. Also, what happens if you remove your axe after you've started harvesting strawberries? Is there a problem with removing your axe after you've started harvesting strawberries? And do we want to spawn a dialogue? Spawn a dialogue about the axe when you throw it? Saying that you can Now run. Maybe even say that you... It's... No, I think we can just leave it that. All right, so remove axe. When we added something, we did this. So slots dot... We need to find out where the axe is. I mean, we have it here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could just say this. And then don't we need to update the bar? Apparently we don't. Why don't we? Oh, because this has a setter that updates it? Yeah. You made private. Not anymore. I'm about to go use it. Through axe. Oh, that was the cheat file. Like that. Remove axe. All right, and then what we have to do is to create an axe item on the ground. It's got to animate actually moving to the ground first. No overload matches delegate. Yep, we got to go fix that too. Because this is pixel position direction. And then we need 2 vector 2s there. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Using the position and direction. It was the player proxy that we have there. Yep. Vector 2 direction. Position. Huh, that's weird. Oh, I didn't press F2? I did not. Wow. All right, let's try it. Man, I gotta figure out lunch soon. Came home and I have nothing to eat. All right, so that did not work because I probably never... No, I have throw axe here. Huh. Did that get hit? Farm player, throw axe, through axe. Yeah, put a breakpoint there and press the button. It does get hit. And then what happens as a result of this? Because it should call into this. It does not. That's funny. Maybe the player provider needs some other thing in here. Doesn't need to listen to the... Oh, yeah, it does. Through axe, on through axe. All right, so now it should actually trigger removing it from the hotbar. So this I don't care about, but it should hit the next part. Yep, it did. And it should actually remove it such that now it's gone. Yes. Now it looks like I'm holding it still and it looks like I can throw it still. We got to fix both of those things because it thinks that this is still selected, but we actually updated the selection. And in this case, necessarily it would have had to be selected for you to use it. So we got to go change this. So where do you select the different? Yep, here it is. So select slot. We just need to select the current slot. And we know that it's your current one, actually. Selected slot. We don't need this. Is this... No, there's a relative index. Select slot. Actually, we could just do that. Yeah. So now you can throw it once. Not multiple times. Yeah, nice. And now you can't do anything there. And now if you did go into the next game, which you can't, but you'd have... no axe, ideally. All right, so now we just need to animate it flying, which means we need an axe item. This should work. Yeah, we should be able to just take one of these, but this has a collision shape. The collision shape is for the sake of the Fever Dream game, right? Is that where this is located? Show in file system. Yeah, Fever Dream game has it. We just had a sprite. We should probably make a new scene then. Yeah, we should probably make a new scene. All right, let's go save this. Farming game. Thrown axe. So silly. Thrown axe. All right, this is going to need a new script altogether. What else is alongside that? Farm NPCs, sidekick. Oh, yeah, let's go look at that then. So, sidekick. No, there's a script for them, isn't there? There isn't? Because they're controlled by an animation player. All right, well, let's just go to the farming game then. And I will add a new... Oh, wait, we can do this from Godot now. I couldn't do this originally because... Oh, man. This is going to be so great. Detach and attach. And I just need to find the right location. Game, farm, thrown axe. Perfect. All right, nice. Now we just need the namespace. And we need that partial class to stick. Oh, and it shouldn't be a rigid body. This should just be, I guess, a node. Where's change node? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's a shame. Node 2D, make scene root. Oh, it's inherited. Oh, that's a problem. Hey, Deadeye. Glad to see you back and in action. Yeah, it's nice to be back. There was... I don't want to get like super rambly here, but I want to sum up like what my biggest vacation learning was with relation to game dev, at least. Which is... What is happening right now? Yeah, so the learning was, like, I can take this game at my own pace and not rush things. And that I should do that. Because I have a tendency to just keep, like, doing. And I'd like to slow down a little bit, I think. Hey, ABC. So yeah, I every Monday look through my tenets, and the biggest tenet is sustainability. And in this case, it just means like, can I do game dev for X years? And the thing that I've talked about that I don't want to get super rambly about is, I always kind of say, like, imagine you have like 30 years to do something. And it's some kind of goal you have. How many years do you think it would actually take you? Like, let's say you want to make a hit game. I mean, for some people, maybe they try their whole career and they don't do it. But like, probably you'd learn a lot after the first 2 years making a game. And then you spend 5 days on a game jam. And then you do a 2-month-long project and whatever. If you do that enough times, now it's 15 years in. You've probably made a bunch of games. You probably have some idea of like what's working and what isn't. And maybe you strike gold on year number 17 and you've accomplished your goal. Well, now you have 13 more years. Like, what are you doing for that time? So this is kind of what I've been thinking about a lot, is I don't want game dev to feel like I'm always frantic and I'm always rushing and there's a deadline and I can never just like stop and enjoy it. It's like what we're doing right now. It's not the most fun thing, right? I'm animating an axe being thrown, but it's part of the journey. It would need to be done for this feature to work. Maybe we end up scrapping the feature in the end. But yeah, if I feel like it's just kind of high pressure all the time, I think it'll sap some of the enjoyment out of it. "29 years, 364 days. Well, so I don't know if other people think about that, but recently I saw an Ask Reddit thread that said something like, would you want to be immortal? And I think of that as essentially being torture. And granted, there are different parameters around being immortal. Some people are like, well, you could choose if you'd want to be finished, and some are like, well, you live beyond the heat death of the universe or something. But really think about it, like, is there something you want to accomplish that you feel like you can't do in a normal lifetime, but that you could do in, let's say, 2 or 3 lifetimes? And then imagine if someone's like, okay, well, now you can have 6 lifetimes. You feel like that's too many. I don't want to do that. I think maybe you've forgotten what it was like when you first started working on Skeleton. You mean in terms of enjoyment? Because I think I was having fun working on Skeleton at the beginning, and I also think I was probably pushing myself quite a lot. And I know I'm pushing myself a bit here. I want to be a vampire, the balance keeper of life. What if your wish was just granted right now and you're a vampire? You're like, this is nothing like what I expected or wanted. Yeah, the pace and the exploration. Yeah, I think this might be one of the risks of going right from one project to another, is that you just keep going at the same pace. And yeah, I don't think that pace would be a good idea right now. Now, with that said, Skelliseller did have checkpoints pretty much once a month for the first 3 or 4 months or something like that. Then they started getting spaced out more. Hey, Ingrid, thank you very much. But yeah, with Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, I suspect the time horizon for this game is going to be on the order of 2 to 4 years, something like that. And yeah, I think this game could be fun. So yeah, let's not rush things. Okay, I'm gonna take another break somewhat soon and then prep for lunch. But what was I doing? I was making a new scene first. Yeah, I gotta save over this. So this is gonna be a thrown axe, and it's a node 2D, and it needs the thrown axe script. Man, I don't know what is going on right now with my typing. Here we go. Okay, and then we want a sprite underneath it. Can we just copy paste that? Yes. And then we need pretty much nothing else, right? I guess eventually an area 2D. Repel area. And this needs to be pretty large. No, not polygon. Collision shape. We can make it a circle, and we can make it pretty large. It's gotta, you've got to end up throwing it outside of this range, and we only activate this at a certain time. So probably set it to monitor ring off. Make sure the axe is monitoring collisions. I turned it off so that throwing it wouldn't cause problems. So now we just save this over this, which is going to fail because we need to close that first. But now it'll work. All right, perfect. So we have the sprite, we have a repel area, we have whatever else. I want to create one of these scenes. This is just going to be a node 2D and doesn't do anything else yet. So let's instantiate a scene. Hey, Grandra. It getting lodged in the house would be funny. It's not going to follow world collision. So if you try getting close to it, it's just going to repel away from you and you'll never be able to reach it again. And if it goes out of bounds, it goes out of bounds. You'll just never touch it. Hey, Ender, thank you very much. I am feeling pretty well rested. Yeah. I need to get back into my normal routine. And this is one of the nicest things about vacation. Like, I just really didn't have very many responsibilities. And now I have responsibilities again. And man, one of the things, I started to see the light at the end of the tunnel for my to-do list. I'm like, wow, I got my emails down to nearly 0. I started tackling some of these long-term things that I had on my list for a while. I've just got to carve out the time to do that stuff. And yeah, I think the stream schedule will probably change slightly. Like, I'll probably be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to just take a couple hours off and go tackle that sort of thing. I don't know. We'll see. I also plan on using AI again. And I just don't like doing it too much on stream because it's like, what are you all watching me do at that point? And the scene. Okay, so I need to copy this over to where you threw the axe. And that is here. And this goes into the farming game. And then we create one of these things. Okay, so this is going to be thrown axe. Global position equals pixel position. I gotta take that break pretty soon. And then where is it located? Farming. Thrown axe dot TSTN? I don't remember. Yeah, let me just do this. Thrown axe. Sub games, farming games. Thrown axe. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Now add that somewhere here. I'll just say where I left off. Need to add the item to the scene and kick off an animation that makes it look like it's on the ground. I'm gonna take my break. I also got to figure out my lunch plans while I'm on my break, so I might be a little bit longer. So now's the time to play Jump Royale if you're interested. Is it jump time? I don't know if it heard me. Huh. It got it across 2 lines. Is it jump time?
It's jump time.
Okay, hello. I just placed an order. Man, what just happened? Okay, cool. Yeah, so it should arrive in about half an hour. Yeah, which is perfect. Interesting. Close the game. So yeah, they're running some promotion where if I ordered another like $10 worth of stuff, I would have saved $8, which means that if I ordered $10 worth of stuff, it would have only cost me $2. But there wasn't anything for like that amount of money. I don't want to waste food. Close the game. What did it hear me say? Oh, it just heard the game. Okay. Well, where do we go off this? It's getting this to actually throw this, and it's in the farming game. Where shall I put this? Probably in the current zone, right? Yeah. And you could throw it anywhere. So maybe just under the environment node? How will we, I guess character node? Yeah, let's put it under the character node. Current zone environment, character node. There must be a way that we add this, right? Do we never get this character node? We don't? Huh. Okay. There's a collectibles node. I guess it doesn't really matter where this goes because you can't get close to it. So yeah, it doesn't make a difference. Collectibles. Oh, except for when you're throwing it, it's going to dictate where it appears in relation to you. We could probably manage this. Wait a second, we're not able to find this either. Collectibles node. Oh, there it is. All right, so I guess we're gonna add it over here. We could make this public. I could just say like public void add axe node 2D thrown axe. There we have it. Let's go add that in. Cool. Cannot resolve symbol. Where did I just put that? Where did I just put that? I put it in farm zone. Whoops. I mean, I guess technically the farm zone should have... No, it shouldn't. What am I talking about? No, because you could throw this anywhere. But only the farm zone has collectibles? Okay, well, that's a problem. They all have an environment node, though. I could put it there. We don't get the environment node. All right, let's go fetch this for a sec. Node 2D environment node. So this is just a node 2D and it's environment. Except for I want to change the case of that. No, it's environment node. All right, cool. So we set the position, we add it, we remove it from the hotbar, and now we need to animate its direction. And then enable its collider or whatever. That could happen in an animation player. Then I need to just fill out a script. So if I do this, it should look like the axe is just stopping in midair. No, it just totally broke. I even double checked this. What did I mess up? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. What isn't? This didn't exist? Must be that the scene doesn't exist at that location. It doesn't. I double checked it. I looked at this. I looked at it over here. What did I type wrong? Games, scenes, sub games, farming game. Oh, farming game. Well, obviously my double checking didn't work. Oh, okay, there we go. So now we are just not passing in. We're not getting the environment node. Imagine getting every path wrong. Maybe it is not in each individual zone. Maybe there's nothing that... No, that's... Wait, that's fine. Your house interior has... It's just called environment. Let's delete that then, I guess. They should all have the same name. This is environment. They should probably all inherit from the same scene. And this is environment. Yeah. They should all inherit from the same scene. They don't. It's kind of a mistake. That's a task for an AI to do. Make each of the farming environments inherit from the same scene. That way we don't need to rely on environment being a uniquely named node. It could just be in the root. All right, let's go try it again. We're apparently fetching this in another place using the wrong name now. Oh, we'll get there. I'll fix all of the paths. Huh. What is the name of the current scene? Environment? This has its own script? That's not good. What even instantiates that? Farm zone instantiates it? Yeah, I don't care about this. Farm zone environment. Disk. Yeah, that's a shame. So it's this thing that actually has the script. So it won't be at the same path in all of these. Well, we could just say that it's uniquely named. This is getting a little bit silly, though. Yeah, this is getting a little bit silly. Add child. Unique name and owner equals true. And then set its owner. Actually, its owner should be the zone. I think this would work. I think this is kind of stupid now. Yeah, I should have made them all inherit from a scene to begin with. They just have a script on them. And the script just needs to have ground layer and seed layer. Also, this is going to be super annoying to do. So I think we need to cut a corner here. Yeah. Yeah, this is not great. All right, well, let's look through where I set this up. Because somewhere I deleted the word node and now should not have done that. This is all fine. This is fine. Yep. Here it is. I did only the code I needed to add to get everything working, and I just never planned on doing this sort of thing. So this is what I expected to have happen. The axe should just be there floating in the air. That hopefully looked semi-convincing. I should probably just watch the YouTube video. Hello, past Adam. All right, so here we go. We're going to go frame by frame. So they throw the axe, and then it teleports above them again. It's not actually teleporting above them. It's that's where they let go of it. So we need it to go away from their body enough. And then this thing about the thrown axe. Yeah, so note we fetch this here as opposed to caching it because like due to how the farm zones environment gets dynamically loaded. This is so stupid. Also, I got to turn off stop comments from auto wrapping. Or as I type them, it doesn't actually type the // characters on the new line, so it's just annoying. Yeah. All right. So now in the throw downward animation, farm player, we have to make this throw the axe afterward. And yeah, only when it's sufficiently far away from their body. Oh, right. We won't actually see the axe, will we? Unless we instantiate one in. And then move this. Yeah. So I wanted to get thrown pretty far away. Yeah, so like here is where I think it should be thrown. At that point, though, it doesn't really matter about the position. We could just say that it hit the ground, although it could continue to slide. All right, let's see how that looks, though. The nice thing about doing it this way is now the axe won't appear beneath them because it's technically being added in the world beneath them. So yeah, it just threw it straight on the ground, and now you can walk over it. Although even that shouldn't be possible. It should be like a magnet that's being repelled from you. We can get that to work next. I mean, that's pretty simple. And in fact, as soon as you've thrown the axe, we can do that, right? So let's close all these tabs. Farm game, close this too. So as soon as we add this, the thrown axe, actually it could just start monitoring, right? Yeah, what am I doing? We can just change this to be monitoring by default. And then I never set the collision for this. This is considered to be part of, yeah, sure, the world. Have a collide with the player. Okay, so whenever the player enters this region, any part of this region, then we need to make the axe move away from them. So we just need an on body entered. Where is the player? They have a collision shape where their feet are. Which means that if they approach from the bottom, they might overlap the axe. That'd probably be okay. We can always just bump this up a little bit anyway. As long as in the player, when they throw the axe away. So throw item down. As long as that circle doesn't overlap them, it does overlap them. But it might look fine for it to repel a little bit. In fact, yeah, that might look okay. Okay, all right, yeah, let's do that. So the player has a collision shape here. This is literally just a shape, but I guess it's a body. So it's on body entered. On body enter. Oh, it's just called body entered. All right, so we're going to go plug this in over here. Good. Then we're going to get on area body entered. Wait, why is this not a thing? Oh, because it's got to be the repel area. area 2D, repel area. And then we do this over here. So now on area body entered, and we only really care when it enters this. And now what we're going to do is get the, we need their position. And we need a vector from their position. So like vector to push direction equals the current thing's position. So global position minus the player global position. And then we're gonna, I mean, ideally this probably should have been a rigid body 2D. It's got friction on it and we can just push it that way. But what we can do for right now, I don't want to just move it though. That's the thing. Yeah, I kind of want this to be a rigid body. All right, well, let's change its type and see how hard this would be to do. It's going to say it doesn't have an area, right? Yeah, so I would need to put this here. And then we give this thing the collision. And then there's got to be some like, no, let's not worry about this for right now. So now this is a rigid body 2D. And let's set our velocity. Hey, Formulate, yeah, it was really restful. Thank you. Welcome back to you too. Wait, why can't I set the velocity here? What have I done? Oh, you need to apply an impulse? Yeah. Apply impulse. All right, so how's this work? You pass in an impulse and a position. All right, push direction dot normalized times 20. And the position could be, no, I don't think the position really matters. Let's try this out. Yeah, let's see what happens. I don't know if this will function the way that I expect. Oh, right. This should just be gone now. I originally had an area 2D there and then turned it into a rigid body. Okay, let's try this. So we throw the axe and then we slide alongside. There shouldn't actually be collision here though. That's the thing. Because it's pulling us alongside it. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do to stop that. Is it a child of the player? No, it's added to the environment. So it pulls me all the way to the bottom of the world, I guess. Interesting. Well, let's go look at rigid body 2D. I guess all I really care about, I guess I could just use move and slide. I could just apply a velocity and keep track of it myself. I don't even need move and slide. What am I talking about? I could just apply a velocity. I just don't want this thing to actually collide. Freeze would turn off all of this, right? Gravity and force are not applied. Yeah. There's maybe another thing I could potentially do here, which is to say that this actually isn't part of the world, but it is still monitoring player. That could work. Because it's other things entering this. Does that work? Yeah, so now the axe slides away. But it's like really shooting away from the player. What if I just set this to 2? Yeah, I want it to slide away and then eventually stop. Maybe it doesn't have any damping applied. No, it just keeps going. Let's try with visible collision shapes. I don't think this circle is growing, That's what I'm a little confused by here. Yeah, it showed the collision. It was in red. And then this thing just flies away. And I guess what's probably happening is it's applying this every single frame. No, it's only entered once though. Well, let's take a look. Let's put a printout here. Applying impulse. So how often does that print out? I think it should just be once. It doesn't print at all? I guess because it doesn't think that a body entered. So this is purely just that it detects it's colliding and then pushes itself away from the collision. Which, to be fair, is pretty much what I want. I think we would just need to shrink this down. That can't be correct. Yeah, this definitely can't be correct. This is just the character. Nothing else should even have this. Huh. And I don't think it's the size of the collision shape. Like, I could shrink this way down. But then what collision would it be detecting? Oh, maybe the character has another collision shape. This. Interestingly, this is considered to be in the world, so that wouldn't matter. Oh, wait. There's a... Whoops. This shouldn't be here. I don't know if that was the cause of this. But yeah, I accidentally left the axe there. I don't know how I didn't notice that either. They just face upward as I was moving? It's still just flying away. Oh, gravity. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I think you're right. I had not thought of that. Yeah, gravity, 0. Done. It just so happens that I was testing this facing downward. Yeah, there we go. But now it seems like there's no damping. Is it slowing down? It is slowing down, or else I wouldn't be able to catch up to it. Okay, I'm giving you a point for that. Because I would not have realized that. All right, so how do we slow this down? Damp mode. Combine or replace. What is damp? By default, body will use default linear damp. So what is the linear damp set to by default? Damp. That's not how you do that. 2D. Default is 0.1. Okay, so we want it to be like 0.4 or something. And then make this larger, probably way larger now. And then that's it. Everything should hopefully just be fine. It looks like you're pushing it now. Oh, and it rotates. How nice. But you'll never be able to touch the axe. Actually, I should have a bounce off of the tutorial man as well. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, you can push it into your house. Remember, you won't see that circle. But yeah, this is pretty good. I like this a lot. I really like this. Okay, so let's turn off visible collision shapes and then go launch this again and see what it'd feel like to the player. So I'll put it in full screen. There we go. You might be like, what is going on? Why is it static there? Oh, yep. It just left. Whoa, it shot away again. was that because of the crops? Can't be because of the crops, right? Why'd that happen? Oh no, why did that happen? It was this that I did. I went over to here. Then I did this. Let's put it right here. Yeah, it just flies away. Oh, God. Oh, wait. Oh, there were two things in the debugger. Okay, that's probably the issue. Oh, you know what it probably is? It probably can't find the right part of the environment. Because I almost certainly botched something here. Yeah. Common parent is null. Yeah, load environment in farm zone. Remove child, get this node. We don't ever free this? That seems like a gigantic problem. Yes, that seems like a gigantic problem. What's even in there to begin with, though? What is in there to begin with? This is environment node. So it's inside farming game. No, it's inside farm zone. This. Nothing should be there. Reach a decision about Claude after the announcement I posted in Discord last week. So what I'm leaning toward is just using it anyway. But I'm conflicted about this. So for those who don't know, I was using Claude like a month ago, and I was pretty happy with it. I think it worked pretty well, and it was $20 a month. And then two things happened. One, XAI is providing data centers now, or something, whatever. I don't know. One of Elon Musk's companies is providing data centers for Claude, and as a result, they get like 2x usage out of, or like I would get 2x usage out of the plan, apparently. So I have my own opinions about Elon Musk, and I don't plan on like fully delving into these here, but the short story is I don't think he needs more money. And now this would give some small amount of that to him somehow. You know, I imagine it gets funneled up through the company or provides value to these companies. And anyway, that was the tricky part. So my overall thoughts are it's a relatively small amount of money. And like Claude worked well. Yeah. Even before the plan got more permissive. And I have that AI command, which links to a video that's like, what, 20 minutes long. And in it, I talk about AI and resource usage and how I think if you make a decision that has harm involved in some way, that there needs to be some benefit to offset it. I talk about game development, how game development is meant to provide joy to people. Anyway, it's tough because I think the alternative here is like sign up for Codex and hope that it's good enough, and then, you know, use and learn it and read all their privacy policy and everything. It's like a non-zero cost for me. Or it's just click a button and sign up again for Claude. Usage is same on a weekly or monthly basis, but the 5-hour limit is less harsh due to availability. Oh, really? Okay. I mean, that still is probably better then, because it means I don't need to do these tricks of like starting a window before I actually want to use it. Yeah, I read about that Twitch dog. I don't know all the details. And this is one of those things where like I just, it's like almost like the less I know, the better. If I hadn't heard about that, I would have just been like, oh yeah, I'll just sign up for Claude again. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't inform me about things, but now I have the burden of knowledge. I've been deciding on actually paying for Claude. This doesn't make me want to pay for it. Yeah, like it doesn't make me want to pay for it either. But I still think of like, what is effectively, like, what am I doing? Like, imagine if the plan cost $1 million per month. would I even be making an impact then if I was like, okay, well, now I'm not going to pay for it? Honestly, probably not. Yeah. All top tier models are basically the same. Only thing that changes is how you have to write your prompts. Yeah, it's not like it was just that. Like, I think Claude worked well for me. I didn't have any problems with it. Other than possibly the 5-hour limit. That was the one thing, maybe, which granted on any AI plan, you'll run into limits at some point. So if that's the only problem, you could always just throw money at it. But it's like, yeah, I didn't really have a problem with it producing poor quality code or anything. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I try Codex. It's just another thing I have to do though. I guess I'll write that down for over the weekend. Consider signing up for Codex and bypassing my moral quandary. AD Gen. Ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think so. Okay, so I freed this thing, but I'm guessing this is still going to be a problem because it still had a unique name. Although, did this mean there were 2 environments there? I guess I should debug this. Like, when is this ever even the case? It's got to be at some point. So get child count is... Can I right click this and go to evaluate? Yeah, nice. 0. Good. That's what I would expect. Now I do this and it is, I should just add a watch for this. How do you do that easily? Add inline watch. What? Class type is expected. Can I remove that watch now? Where did that go? There it is. Remove. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to paste this here. That is not pasting. Yeah, so it's 0. Okay, that's fine. Now this gets hit again and it's 1. Okay, that I didn't expect. Oh, I see. Okay, and then does that cause an exception? There were probably 2 nodes that had this. Yeah, all right, I think I know what the problem is, and I think I know how to fix this. But yeah, this is rather unfortunate. So what, like node, yeah, child equals that. Child queue free, and then child dot unique name and owner equals false. I think that's what we'd have to do. I think this is kind of silly and weird, and there's probably a much better way of doing this stuff. So if I go back to that, and then over here, and then throw the axe, it still didn't work? I'm kind of surprised about that. Node not found environment. I bet it's still failing to set a unique name on this. Better results. Yeah, I haven't tried Codex. I think it's worth a shot. Also, I don't remember what Codex's prices are. I think there was like an $8 tier, but there's probably a $20 tier. Either way, it's not significantly different from paying $20 a month. So if I try and it turns out to be good and they have some like roughly the same usage level I was already doing, I don't mind. I just didn't see a reason to switch because Claude was working totally fine for me. Using the regular chopping animation, but having it fly out of your hands would feel more natural if the animation sprites would support it. They don't easily support it, and that's the problem. And also, I need to get it working for all of the directions. So I think it'd be annoying. But I do agree it would look a lot nicer. All right, I'm still not sure what's going on here then. Unique name and owner. Where did that even go? Unique name and owner. Here it is. So something's going wrong here. And I think it's this. Maybe I have to just change the owner at this point. I'm not certain, but yeah, I think this is what's going wrong. So the new environment is getting the wrong owner. I don't know how you're supposed to fix this though. So I don't even know if it happens here. So now child is not a thing. But when we get to this, environment.name, It's just node 2D. I wonder if I need to set it to environment. Interesting. Why? Could I do this beforehand? What if I got rid of that? Does this fix this problem? Yeah, I don't care about some empty quotes at the end. Has an equivalent $20 per month here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out. So environment name is environment. That's working as expected. I don't know what's going on over here, though. Invalid owner must be ancestor in the tree. So it's got to be in the tree before you do this. So then this isn't even possible. So I would need to do this here. Yuck. Oh, I don't like this at all. I really don't like this. And yet, it's like there's just no reason even addressing this. If this works, then who cares? So yeah, now it says environment name is environment 2. That's the problem. So now this is going to fail. Yeah. It shouldn't be getting environment 2 as the name. We turned this off. We free it. I guess we could also change its name. In fact, just changing its name should be fine. So now we don't have to do this. And then I guess put that back in. I should get my food pretty soon, right? Because I've got to get going somewhat soon. Arrives in 3 minutes. Okay. Because I need to do grocery shopping. So yeah, that works. That's fine. Now what about this? Yeah, now it's working just fine. This looks so silly. Oh man. Yeah. Oh, great. So this should allow you to run. I'm glad we got the basic part of this feature working. Also, we spent what, like an hour and a half on this? Like, this is just pretty much for the sake of a joke. But yeah, I agree with what Grandor was saying about the animation. Because it is weird that you're holding the axe above your head. Can I go back to this? Yeah. So you hold the axe above your head. This is not how you hold the other tools. The other ones you don't even see. You just use them. But the axe all of a sudden you're holding. So when you throw it, and it only works when you're facing downward, then yeah, it's just gone. And now you can't pick it up again. It would be kind of... It also doesn't really look like you're throwing it. That's another problem. Make it look like you've actually thrown the axe. It's too linear right now to be convincing. It should probably trigger a dialogue saying, now that you're not carrying that pesky axe, you can run. Or ditching your trusty axe has given you the ability to run. All right, what else? So make sure the axe is still gone whenever you re-enter the game. Make sure we do change your cursor when the fourth item is selected and it's a strawberry. Sidekick dialogue. Okay, that's good. Spawn a dialogue. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get going. I'll be back in probably about an hour. And we're going to finish this up. And then we're going to just, I guess, kind of keep working. The next biggest thing that we have to do is work on the cutscene with Sidekick. But thank you all for watching so far. I hope to see you again later. Thanks for welcoming me back. And if you'd like, here's the Discord link. So take care, everyone. See ya.